Hello, everybody, and welcome to Crying is a Free Action, a national peasant radio program. This is a podcast about news and politics in our home state, around the U.S., and around the globe. Our name, Crying is a Free Action, comes from Dungeons & Dragons, where you get many types of actions. Move action, attack action, free actions. Free actions are usually to yell a warning to an ally or taunt an opponent. We, however, want to remind everyone that crime is indeed a free action. You can do it when you're trying to wait for a Switch 2 pre-order. You can do it at a protest. You can also do it while paying tariffs on your uninhabited island. We also talk about video games and traditional games in the second half of the show, and we split it into two parts, so you can watch what's relevant to you. I'm Justin. I'm joined today with my good friend Al, and we're also joined in the middle here by Tommy, our good friend, who's going to be providing us with some good information. Oh, sorry, we were muted. He was enjoying the JD Vance thing. I put that up. I like it. I hope Monkey sends me more.
Yeah, I have to.
Perfect.
It's
so
glorious.
Let's go to some North Dakota news quick first. So this fella here, who would have thought?
Oh, hey, this guy again.
Yeah, how can you forget him?
Guy.
Oh, hang on, I gotta put Monkey in here. Hang on, I can do this.
It's all right.
It's not.
I don't want to
right.
see
You're
myself.
so beautiful.
Ugh.
Oh, and it's just that easy. I said.
Okay,
it's
so
just that easy.
which politician is this one? Is this the one that sent
That's
the
the
dick
Nico
pic?
something or the other?
Nico
No,
Rios. Nico
Yeah,
Rios.
that guy.
He's out of Williston. He got a DUI, and while he was being arrested, called the police officers anti-Semitic and racist things. He also.
But he's not even.
Go on.
He's not even a Jew, is he?
No, say that again.
He's not even Jewish, is he?
No. So here's the thing: is when Trump was getting elected, he tweeted on the Twitter, and he was like, "I wonder if Trump would have the CIA take this person out of power," and he was referring to the Jewish president of Mexico. So not a very good guy. Now, on the other hand, this bill I don't hate. It's probably totally unnecessary, but I don't hate it. Basically, he wants to propose a bill that would make North Dakota legislators mandatory reporters. Do you guys know what a mandatory reporter is?
No. Not really, no.
So a mandatory reporter is somebody who, more or less, if they know about a crime that has been committed, they are compelled by state law.
Okay, I get it. We have that. We have that at my job where if you see something, report it.
Yep, and that's pretty common around the country. A mandatory reporter is just a little bit different because, like, teachers and counselors, so like even in a area that is normally like confidential as fuck, a mandatory
Not
reporter,
a signal chat.
Not a signal chat. They would still have to report it. Now, one of the things about this is that, I agree on this, and it's one of his best ideas so far, even though that bar is really low. The real question is this necessary? I don't know. What this comes from is, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, is the Ray Holmberg problem. He is a former North Dakota legislature who was convicted in federal pound you in the ass prison court of going overseas and engaging in sex with minors.
That other one.
Yeah, that fella. And it was real gross. I might actually do like a true crime thing on it on the show here one of these days because it's bad. It's so blatant, and they didn't even try to hide it. That's how bad it is. So what Nico Rios is trying to say here is, what if somebody in the legislature knew about this and they just covered
and then they reported?
Yeah. So
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest.
no, me either. And so what
So
I'm trying to say here is I don't totally disagree with Nico Rios on this. I still don't think you should vote for him. I don't think he's a good person. So, like I said here, a broken clock is still always right twice a day, and Nico Rios got one. So if this passes, I don't see a problem with that. It did get recommended for a due pass, so I think that's fine. So the next one also concerns legislators in North Dakota because they're trying to change the term limits again for legislatures in North Dakota. In 2022, we had a ballot measure that would decide the term limits, and it would be 8 years. Right now, they're trying to add a resolution to the 2026 ballot that would change it to 16 years. And I have a couple of different thoughts about this one. Mostly because, well, the first thing is based on how the last law was written in 2022, we're not even sure if this is something that is allowed to be done by the legislature based on the rulings in the Constitution of North Dakota. So that's not for me to determine or judge. That's for the Supreme Court to do. The other thing is 8 years is a long time to serve in there. 16 years is a long time more. And I actually have to agree with Republican Christina Wolf out of Minot on this. Because what she said is, I realize there's a lot of good information that people like me, new people here, could use, but that institutional knowledge has also tripled the budget in the last 10 years. So this is one of those double-edged swords where we're keeping these legislators around who know what they're doing, supposedly, or at least have institutional knowledge, but things like that is what raises, they get more money, they get more expensive, they have more staff, things of that nature. So,
of course.
yeah. So I totally understand both sides of this one. This is kind of the point of this whole website, is to bring up a discussion. Some things I think are cut and dry, and we should feed students and not dump all over trans people. But this is a good one that I think people need to come out and discuss and think about and think like, what's the pros, what's the cons? So
one of the interesting things I just learned about the North Dakota legislature is that you guys it only meets once every 2 years.
correct.
So yep. So in this case, legislature may meet for a maximum of 80 days
Correct.
every 2 years. So that you guys are just one of 4 states that kind of does this kind of behavior, because every other state just meets every year for some amount of time. So this is interesting.
So just so you know, though, starting next year, we are meeting every year, though.
Oh, okay.
Yep, that is something that changed this year.
So what do these politicians do? Like, do they have like regular jobs?
So a lot of them have regular jobs. Many of them are retired from regular jobs and then went into politics. And some of them are full-time politicians. So, it makes sense in a small state like this. And frankly, I don't see a problem in promoting civics and politicians as a career path to people. So that doesn't necessarily mean you need to stay in an elected office or anything like that either. But both of those stories were by the North Dakota Monitor. The next story also by the North Dakota Monitor. And I'm excited about this one because I was at a protest today. Whoop, wrong button. There we go. I was at a protest today because Trump Doge action sparked planned protests in North Dakota. And not just North Dakota, all over the country. What this was the 50-51 protest network. And so the idea is 50 states, 50 capitals, one day, hands off America is the group. And it's the whole thing of like, don't let Doge cut all these things. Don't let Trump put these tariffs up. Don't let them trample all over your rights. And so this is the first protest. I guess I've ever been to. I actually had quite the good time.
Oh
It was pretty fun. Everybody who was there was friendly. It was an older crowd for sure. That's not surprising with the demographic in North Dakota.
Yeah, you do be old up there.
We do be
Yeah.
old up here. And
What were
even
the
one of the
concerns
let's say
that
that
you
again.
met? Did you talk to like any other protesters there? Were there what kind of concerns did they have?
So it's funny you mention that because I actually, well, and some of it I was just like eavesdropping because I was just there mostly to take pictures, which I'll put up on the website, easyvoteND.com. There was a gal there, and she was probably 5 or 6 years younger than me, 30-ish. And she straight up was talking to another person, and she was like, I can't believe we believed in the big lie. I can't believe we believed that they stole the 2020 election from Trump. So there were people there who literally were like, oh yeah, Trump got the election stolen from him in 2020. And then now they're like, no, that's all bullshit. This is all bullshit. And we're here to stop it. And it was pretty nice to see that. Like, it's sad that, like, oh man, it sucks that you bought into that and we're in this situation. But like, you're on the right side now and we're here for you. And I think that was the general mentality. Everybody who was, again, like I said, it was an older crowd, and even one of the older DNC guys was like, oh, there's some younger people here, very good. But it was a vast majority are old white-haired ladies. I did my part by standing around taking pictures, and wherever the line looked thin, I put my thick-ass hockey body. Like I said, I had a good time. The weather was beautiful. Everybody was super pleasant and friendly and wanted to talk. I talked to several farmers. Many of them were like, I talked to a guy who was from Oaks, North Dakota, which is 146 miles away from Bismarck, which is where the protest was. And I said, what brought you here? He goes, this USAID stuff gonna kill my farm. Like, we sell soybeans across the country or across the world. What else am I supposed to do? And so there were a lot of farmers there. There were a lot of veterans there. Basically, the breakdown is so like we were standing all across a big stretch of road, like 4 blocks, which is a lot in North Dakota because there was like maybe 1,100 people there, which is like 1/750th of the entire state. But every car that drove by, so about 60%, they were waving, honking, taking video, giving us thumbs up. 30% of people were like, what the fuck is going on here? And then there was like one sad guy who kept driving by, giving us thumb down and the middle fingers. And he drove by like 6 times. And he was like the only guy.
In his Cybertruck.
No, he was driving like some Mazda. No, he's just driving some shitty black Mazda. And like one old guy was just like, get a job. And I'm kind of like, yeah, actually. I yelled, get a hobby, but clearly he found one. So it was like the most bewildered people, the scariest ones were the people like, well, what's going on out here? I don't listen to the news. What's going on? Those were the people I'm afraid of. So those are the people just living in their own world. But I got some great photos of the Capitol and stuff too. So I'm excited to share all that. Like I said, it was a great time. I have some Montana news, but I'm gonna hit some North Dakota homework. There's always homework with me. Go to a protest. There is a website. It's called theblop.org. The big list of protests. The Blop. When I was at the community reorg with all those old ass Democrats a couple of weeks ago, I got to hear an old man yell, theblop.org. So I'll never forget that now. And they have protests for all over the country. Go to one. It's way more fun than you think. There's going to be food and music and cool people. So like I said, I'll have more to share about that later. The vibe was good. Nobody did anything weird. Nothing weird happened. Every cop that drove by was like, hey, all right. Nobody gave a shit here. And honestly, that is a Midwest privilege. It was all a bunch of older white people. You know, I saw some pictures from Boston and how at the Boston Commons it was just insane. And that's just great to see. So, go to a protest. That's the way this is going to get changed. So let's move on to just a little bit of Montana news. So, unfortunately, Montana Republicans stopped a bill that would formally legalize gay marriage in the state of Montana. Now, people might be asking, well, I thought gay marriage was legal. Well, it is. It's protected by the Supreme Court right now from the case Obergefell. However, the Supreme Court has already overturned Roe versus Wade, which is what has protected abortion rights federally. Unfortunately, even though that is sort of a thing that the Supreme Court is not really supposed to do, there's nothing stopping them now from going back and overturning gay marriage. So what states are trying to do is enshrine those rights in state constitutions. So, unfortunately, Montana did not get a state provision yet to legalize gay marriage. And as you can see on the screen, that's Zoe Zephyr. She's amazing. She's one of my personal heroes. I love her a lot. Look her up. She is a legislator in Montana. Same thing a little bit of good news in Montana, though. By the way, both of these stories, they're from Erin in the Morning. Erin Reed is an independent transgender journalist. Please look her up. She's fantastic. So this was another important one, and we're going to be seeing a lot of cases like this. So it's Montana adult trans ban blocked in court. So what that means is if you're a trans person, maybe you were born as a male and now you're living as a woman, a trans woman, and you want to use the trans bathroom, that's technically illegal in Montana. Except the courts were like, no, that doesn't make any sense. The whole point behind the law was that, no, we have to ban it to protect women. Well, trans women are women. So they were like, this isn't doing anything, so we're not going to restrict anybody's rights. Now, this is still in its sort of early phases of being challenged. However, they have a very strong case that because there are no victims, there's no case for being a law. That happens a lot. That's what happened in North Dakota with like the conversion therapy stuff. Like nobody was asking for it, so why were we legalizing it? So unfortunately, This is just another one of those things of like they're just out to bully people. And the courts are just like, nah, dog.
I mean, like, it doesn't really, a sign is not going to stop anybody from like doing like, a
anything. No.
Right? No. So like it's one of those
realistically a law isn't. It's just a law is just not something that we're supposed to follow, and as long as we want to follow it, if nobody else is around to really enforce it, then like I'm not telling you to go break the law, but the law is basically a covenant that we're it's a covenant that we're entering into with society.
Yes.
There's enforcement, sure. Sorry, Tommy, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay. I guess it's also important to know, like, the question is like, how many like trans people are there in like Montana and like North Dakota, right?
It's so funny. I've been watching this comedian called Cliff Cash. I highly recommend you check him out. He's a super southern gentleman.
I think he's actually from here.
I think he is from there, from North Carolina. He's amazing. And he was like, Republicans always got to have a boogeyman. This time it's the trans people. All 100 of them. And honestly, yeah. Like, there aren't that.
True.
And I'm friends with like half of them. So please leave them alone. They're not doing anything. They're just buying custom art and being hilarious.
I guess we got some estimates here. So North Dakota, transgender population 2,500. So it's really not that many. You're probably not gonna run into them anyways. So
Yeah, compared to the population, I mean,
A
that's
third of them come to my business, and I'm appreciative of it. They're just people. They're just people. Who gives a shit? But so, that's the one thing, and I just get so tired of this crap with because nobody wants to talk about this is the problem. They get you riled up about immigrants and transgender people and DEI, so you don't worry about tariffs. And now all of a sudden we got tariffs, and it's like, wait, why are we all broke?
why are we all poor?
Well, we always were. We're just more now. Fair enough. All right. So that's kind of what I've got.
before we go to North Carolina news,
Please.
when I heard about more politicians and weird sex things, I thought there's one about this guy from, I guess his name is Mayor Tom Ross from, I think, Minot. Was it Minot? Sending a lewd video to the city attorney.
Wait, hang on here. Minot.
Minot. Did you hear about this one?
No, I'm pulling it up
actually,
right now.
I think I heard about it, but didn't he end up resigning and apologizing right away?
He did. He sent a nude video of himself.
Yeah, he basically sent a dick pic and was like, "Shit, I'm so sorry," and
My
then he did
bad.
right away.
He's the
He's only been mayor
mayor.
the mayor of Minot. He's only been a mayor for 2 months, so I think everybody who's watching from Minot probably knows about this because it's so they're talking about a police officer who committed suicide. So then they hang up the call. 2 minutes later, city attorney Stephanie Stahlhelm gets basically a dick pic video. So I was surprised we didn't cover this one.
Can I ask you guys honest to God questions? Have you ever
Yeah.
sent a dick pic to somebody?
I plead the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
Oh my God. Okay, all right. I've never sent a dick pic, but I've been married for 15 years. She knows what it looks like.
That's because you got married before sending dick pics was a thing.
Oh yeah, phones barely existed.
It's kind of a requirement in modern dating because you got to measure up.
Is that really a thing? Is dating that bad right now?
It's always been like that, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I wasn't married, I would still be single because I'm not gonna deal with that shit.
Hell no. They're not that much different from each other, guys. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, but it's we live in the age of AI, so think you fake everything. So you got to send videos of everything.
Yeah, just like that right there.
You can make that dick look like whatever you want. Make it look like the Little Mermaid. She's gonna love that.
Yeah, it curls around. Yeah,
exactly.
Like a duck.
And sings a song. All right, Monkey, you got me some North Carolina news.
Yeah, I mean, there's really only one fucking relevant.
Yeah, I know, but it's pissing. I've been keeping up with this.
I mean, besides the fact that the state, I'm pretty sure it's still on fire.
Yes.
But no, so we covered this a couple weeks ago where this fucking guy decided he was gonna have a fucking appeal to try and stop the Supreme Court race. Now that they went to an appeals court, his fucking colleague sided with him. Would you fucking guess it?
But the whole thing
his Republican colleagues decided to side with him. Wow, what a fucking surprise.
What a shock. So it's going to have to go to the North Carolina Supreme Court then, yes?
No, so what's actually happening right now is they're going to have to re-verify all these people who voted. So these people who voted and are included in the specific list have 15 days to basically provide the necessary information. Realistically, I don't know what information they asked.
Do you know what he looks exactly like to me? He looks like a youth pastor who's like, "Hey, girls."
Yeah.
Don't trust that guy. That's what he looks like. No. We looked at it was a gal who was the other one, right? Yeah, she
Allison
looked
Riggs.
totally normal.
She looks like a regular
Yeah,
person.
she's a
This dude
regular
looks
ass
like
person.
this dude looks like a fucking somebody asked fucking AI to imagine a Supreme Court judge from North Carolina.
Give me a really religious Supreme Court justice.
And also like a skinwalker. You know, he's like human.
Look, Tommy, we don't talk about that.
No,
I mean, like, I'm
his
sorry,
legend.
sir. You're smiling a little bit too big. You're just too happy for this
It's
job.
got extra teeth in there. Somebody start counting.
Yeah, really.
So,
But yeah,
you're right.
basically, this is a fucked up situation. And what's funny, you know, I made the mistake of creating a Nextdoor account when I moved into this neighborhood, and I have the Nextdoor fucking app, and I get emails every now and then. And I saw a fucking thread of people talking about how in Wisconsin the Supreme Court race was called right away. Yeah, because there was like a fucking 10% lead between the fucking Democrat and Republican or fucking
Man, see,
candidates.
that's the problem.
It's not the same shit.
Twitter guy should have backed this dude, and then he would have lost because nobody likes Elon Musk.
But this, I mean, as you know, this was from the November election.
Right. This is not a snap election.
Right. No, this has been on hold since November when this motherfucker decided to challenge it.
Right.
But anyways, people on fucking Nextdoor were complaining and talking that the Democrats did this and the Democrats did that, and I was about to interject, but I'm just like, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with some old lady on Nextdoor.
See, all right, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm just gonna start telling people off, and like, okay, I went to the Michael's Arts and Crafts store, and I bought 15 poster boards and a bunch of big Sharpies. I'm not a creative person. I figured I'm at this protest. If anybody needs a sign, here's a poster board. I got a Sharpie, figure it out. And the gal at the counter was like, "What you making the posters for?" And I immediately was just like, "I'm going to be OPSEC." I'm like, I'm going to an event that I get to be part of. And then I realized she probably...
I'm going to be... OPSEC is clean.
Exactly, yeah, OPSEC is clean. But then I realized, I'm like, I think... as I talked to her more and looked at her and understood her, I'm like, I'm pretty sure this girl is very autistic. And she works here for the strict love of arts and crafts. And I was like, I'm going to a protest. And so today when I was at work early, people were like, "Oh, why are you here early?" "Oh, I'm leaving to go to a protest early." And literally everybody was like, "For what?" And I told them, and they're like, "Good luck. Thank you." Literally everybody at my store. So I don't even know anymore tell people whatever you want. Like, get on there and fucking tell your neighbors they're idiots. I'm literally, like, collecting addresses. I'm going to send letters to my neighbors and be like, "Why are you flying that Trump flag, man? Be on the right side of history." Like, I'm not afraid of these people. What are they going to do?
I'm not afraid of these people either, but they might be afraid
stupid.
of me.
I want them to be smarter. I want them to be good neighbors. But that's what I'm saying. Don't just... yell at an old lady. It's okay. It's time. It's time.
It's funny because I'm pretty sure if going by her last name, I'm actually honestly the reason I don't get into these things with people online is because 9 times out of 10 I'm inclined to believe that these people are bots.
Doxer. What's her fake last name?
Her fucking name was Penny Chang.
That's a bot.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a real name.
Was it okay? Nextdoor is owned by Facebook,
not
right?
a real name.
I have no idea. I don't really give
Tommy,
a fuck enough
fact
about
check it. Who owns Nextdoor?
All right, looking up, sir.
Good. He's so good at this. That's why I asked.
Who owns Nextdoor?
He has to Google.
That's right.
I have Google. Okay, so I use the power of Google. Nextdoor is owned by 4 people. We got Nirav Tolia, Prakash.
I'm out.
I'm not pronouncing that.
I'm out.
It looks like it's a public traded company.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yep.
Yell at old people on Nextdoor. Maybe I'll make a Nextdoor account, and we'll just post screenshots from that with the JD.
Yell at the 10 people in your neighborhood.
Excuse me, my neighborhood is full of wonderful families. Just so you know.
I said, yeah, 10 wonderful families.
Well, okay, you're right. I don't like it, but you're right.
Well, why shouldn't you like it? I would fucking love that.
It's pretty great. All right, I heard we got some dumb Florida news. Excellent.
Yep, we got some dumb Florida news. Yes.
Hang on, let me find that real quick here. Oh my god, there it is.
No worries. While I'm just like, yep, this has been I just put us in last minute.
Oh,
no. So,
oh my god.
Okay, so in dumb Florida news, lawmakers are trying to push to weaken child labor laws. So some of the child labor laws right now. So right now, just to be specific, children can only work a certain amount of time. They have to be a certain age, right? So like 16 and 17, you might remember as a child, you can only work maybe like, I think at most like 24 hours, which is still a lot for a kid. You gotta still do things like school and other things like that. So we want to kind of loosen that up. It might even be like 16 hours. I'm trying to remember the laws in Florida. I can probably just look at it.
It's a little different, but it's right around that area in pretty much most states.
Yeah. So I guess this new proposal is to kind of increase the cap. So instead of up to like 30 hours a week, the kids have like longer days. 16, 17 goes to longer days, later hours, even like school nights. So this is these are the things they're trying to push right now. Even getting kids to work as young as 13 and 14 to have jobs.
They yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines.
They yearn for the mines and the fucking fields.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not entirely against this in ways, because I have been working at the family restaurant since I was like 8 or younger.
Sure.
So I have a very different opinion on these.
Yeah, but let me interject there, because you work there because that's kind of I'm not trying to generalize, but I think that you grew up with that kind of mentality. I feel like.
And, pretty much every state in the country has like family business laws that are like, the kids can work there.
But they're rolling this shit back before they're getting rid of all the freaking immigrants that now can't, harvest the fields and whatever else. That's the reason they're doing this, not because they want kids to have like, jobs and help out at the family store or something.
Yeah.
That's going to happen regardless.
Yep.
I want to ask, so Tommy, you were helping out at the restaurant from a very young age then, yes?
Yes, and same with mine. Everybody in my family. My little sister was running the register at 5.
Wow.
So there you go.
I'll admit, as a white guy, I didn't have that problem. However, I lived right by an Asian restaurant that was, oh my god, I miss them so much. The China Walk.
I was doing landscaping when I was 13.
I'm gonna get back. I'm gonna roll right back to you. Don't worry about it. But like, we would go to the China Walk on our like lunch break in college, and the little girl who was like the owner's daughter would be like, "Can you help me read this?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, this is the best lunch I've ever fucking had." Because I'm getting good food and I'm getting to help a little girl read. Like, so there is benefits to having family restaurants and things of that nature. 5 might be a little young to run a register.
If she knows how to run it, she knows how to run it.
You're not wrong.
Yep.
Probably run it better than my last 2 employees who ran it. So.
She probably fucking run it better than I could.
Yep. So these laws are different. So these are not just like, can a 13-year-old work at a family business. These are just to get.
These are basically, I feel like these are basically just removing any protections that kids would have had.
So big issues here are, and I'm a business owner in North Dakota. So some of the issues are like, you can't work with water that's more than 160 degrees. You can't work with sharp objects. You can't work from this hour to this hour. Safety things. It's good things. And I believe in that. And again, a lot of that gets waived for family business stuff. And a lot of states have laws like this. And there are federal laws like that, but we'll see how long they last.
Yep. So one of the reasons
we still have a Department of Labor
for now, until they stop working. But I guess this kind of laws kind of remind me of a thing that happened about like a year ago. So I posted like another article. I think it's this happened like over in Mississippi about like a year or so ago.
Yes.
Where at the Marjack poultry processing plant. So we did have like a 16-year-old, like I think maybe like a immigrant child, even 16, got fatally like injured doing something while cleaning machinery. So I have these fears that when more children go into the workforce, they don't have like the protections that they need. They don't have like the skills. They don't know like what
They
are
don't,
the
no,
They don't have the
They
life
don't.
experience, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely don't.
Because children at these ages, they just follow whatever the adults tell them to do and assume that adults tell them,
The right
Yeah,
the
thing.
right thing to do.
you assume that the adults are gonna look after you and tell you to do the correct shit. Now you don't assume that the adult in the room is gonna tell you to basically skirt fucking regulations or safety restrictions or whatever, and to make shit happen as quickly as possible,
Have you guys ever
which is
seen
usually what ends up
Snowpiercer?
happening.
And
I
like
have.
the protective gear. Protective gear is designed mostly for adults. And these are
Yes.
talking about like children bodies. So,
Yep.
they might not be protected,
It's-
anything.
It's the same thing. Like if you look at Instagram, TikTok, any of them, they always show like videos of like guys manufacturing stuff in like Pakistan, like barefoot and stuff. Like, oh, they're just trying to get you used to that because that's what they want here. They want children to be barefoot in the sand, fucking making cast iron wheels.
Making cast iron
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Hell yeah, making fucking massive chains.
yeah, working with fucking
that
molten
we're gonna
iron.
put
Yeah.
that we're gonna put the trendy Aragway people in.
Yep, those are the ones. Trendale Rogway. I love it. I love it so much.
You haven't seen that fucking soundbite? Oh, that's great.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna buy a stream deck here very soon, and the soundboard is gonna be phenomenal. It's gonna be the best, maybe the best ever, best of all time.
I should get some soundboards for my fucking.
I'm going to say
do
hold
that.
off on it. You should check your mail in a couple of days.
Ooh.
I'm going to send you something. A Chinese knockoff stream deck in El Jato.
Well, it's cheap now, thank God.
Yeah, it's been out.
I was having this conversation with my business partner the other day when we were like ordering stuff off AliExpress, and we were just both like, wow, capitalism's a lie. It's literally the same shit you can get on Amazon for 3 times the price. So,
Yep, it's all marketing.
alrighty, let's get into some natty news. This is the one Monkey had up there.
Oh yeah. Oh right. You know what? I forgot that I put that up here. But so, this is one of those things where I'm not even fucking sure what to say about this, man. Because this goes right back to the whole trans boogeyman thing, and it's just fucking ridiculous. You know that this person got disqualified not because she refused to compete against a transgender athlete, but because she refused to compete against somebody who was, registered and properly, verified, etc., etc. Basically, she got disqualified because she just refused to compete. Is what it boiled down to.
Huh.
Not because the fencing association decided, oh, we're gonna punish you because you're anti-trans or something. No.
Sure.
But of course, the fucking right-wing fucking chuds and nut jobs are over there saying, "Oh, this person's getting
Based.
discriminated against. Yeah, this is based and blah blah blah." And
What's the name of that What's the name of that fucking swimmer who tied for 5th?
I think
Riley Gaines.
Riley Gaines, right?
She
that's
sucks.
right. And this fucking lady went up in this fucking competition and placed like 24th out of 39. So,
well, I'm bad at this sport, so I guess I'll make a spectacle of myself some other way.
that's what it fucking comes down to. I mean, it's just
All right.
It's stupid.
I'm gonna tell you. So here's my hot take on trans in sports. I know a lot of trans people. They're sickly as fuck.
Yeah, there's like
their bodies are not used to that shit.
there's nowhere near enough trans people in sports to be making any sort of deal about
Nope.
it.
And I'm not kidding. Literally all of the ones I know, like smoke too much, drink too much, smoke too much weed, fucking, they're not in sports. The ones in sports, let them be there. Like, they're not hurting anybody. All the other ones are just like, yeah, please, thank you. We're in bed. So I don't know. Like literally all of them get weaker. They're just like, I used to be a strong dude. Now I'm a hot, weak chick.
You know, like the only fucking time I can really see this being like an issue is like I think there was a thing in Australia where a transgender athlete joined after only being on HRT for not that long, and they still had the significant advantage. It was in weightlifting.
See, again,
so,
I don't know the answer. I'm a cisgender.
I don't know. We don't know the answer, but it's just there's not enough of this happening for it to really be like
it's a just national news emergency.
It's just that it gets turned into what this is fucking
boogeyman
into what this has become. Yes.
Are they high school students?
No, I think they were college students. Yep, University of Maryland.
Yep, perfect. There it is. NCAA.
Yeah, so I remember the first, was it? I know the biggest one that's happened back in like 2018, 2019 was like Leah Thomas, right? Was it?
Yeah, that was the swimmer.
Yep, the swimmer. But like for every one of those, if every one of those that succeed, like how many really are, making a
actually
difference,
doing? Right? Yeah, right.
All right, if you're a trans person, I'm going to tell you here are the sports you should go into: skateboarding, curling, chess. Chess is a sport. The NFL. Fuck them. All right, that's all I got.
Maybe if we go into the NFL, maybe they'll stop watching it.
If there were trans people in the NFL, I would start watching again, honestly. But they would need to fix a lot of other shit. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So now we want to talk about tariffs. Before tariffs, I just want to show everybody this. I got some logos for easyvotend.com. I paid real money for them. They were a very good deal. You should support real artists and not ever use ChatGPT or anything like that to ever make art, because I bought all of these logos for less than $40. $40 American got me all of these logos from a person named Bella on Fiverr. Go to Fiverr. Support a real artist. Fuck AI. Hang on here. Let's do this. Welcome back. All right. So if you're on the website, please go easyvotend.com. Somebody actually, I was taking some pictures of some people at the protest, and they're like, are you with anybody? And I was like, I'm with easyvotend.com. No bigs. So maybe we'll get a little traffic. That would be great. Again, most of this is just to educate my customers, people around North Dakota, people we know. But it's working well. So now when you go to like this page, oh look, it doesn't have a big, fat, ugly, plain text thing. It's got a nice logo. I love it. Hang on.
Yep.
So
easyvotend.com.
Thank you, Tommy. I'm gonna call on you probably. So this whole background image, that's not Bismarck. That's a random city. I think it's St. Louis, if I'm being honest with you. I took some good photos today of the Capitol, and I'm pretty proud of myself. So I'm going to touch those up and try to get that as the background for the website.
And then to Tommy so he can tell you they suck.
I don't do that.
Please do. No, I want to get better at photography. So...
It's fine. Don't worry. We're having real photos, real people on the ground. We're graph. We're just regular people, just like you and I, and we're terrible at taking photos. So it's great.
Yes.
Except that photo. That photo's amazing.
That was pretty nice.
The one that's already there.
No, I was talking about the Vance photo.
Oh yeah, those are all beautiful. All right, so that was kind of our only bit of national news. Well, I've got this one here. Hang on, let's bring that up quick. Whoop. Yes. So, let's talk about tariffs. Tommy,
All right, so
would you like to start with your presentation?
All right, sure. Yeah, so let me just switch it real quick. So today we're going to do, we'll talk about some tariffs. Yep, hi. There we go. Welcome to the first segment on this thing. Oh, whoops, called Ask an Asian about tariffs. So I was asked this question by, John Everyman. Like, how does a tariff affect my every day-to-day life? How much more do I have to spend for items? So I'm actually talking about this as, from as a business owner. So, like, we'll look about your local Chinese restaurant. So, like, the China Garden over in Bismarck.
Ooh, I love that.
China Garden.
Yeah, they're both China Garden.
Oh my God, I love them.
This is not a sponsored by China Garden, and nor do they want me to give away the secrets. But we're going to talk about a single item on their menu.
But you should go there. Their broccoli and beef is the best. Go on. Seriously,
Yes.
they're great.
Okay, I didn't do the prices for the broccoli beef, but we're going to talk about beef fried rice. So, beef fried rice, everybody knows how beef fried rice is, but it sometimes requires specific ingredients. So, in this case, I just broke down some common ingredients over here. So, of course, we have to get jasmine rice. Jasmine rice is, to me, the best rice.
Yeah,
it's the only rice you should be eating.
Agreed.
It's the most flavorful.
Agreed.
So usually, if it being a beef fried rice, you're gonna have, you're probably some kind of ground beef, some eggs, some soy sauce. Soy sauce. We're choosing in this case Lee Kum Kee is one of my favorite soy sauces to use.
Better than Kiko Man any day of the week.
We'll get to that. We'll get to and then of course like bean sprouts, carrots, and peas. I've never been to the China Garden. Do they add any additional ingredients?
No, that's about right. Yeah, that's about right.
Yep. So most of these are, fairly like American ingredients because we a lot of times we do buy a lot. We have a lot of ingredients that are just from America, but soy sauce and jasmine rice. We chose specifically from the additional countries. So just a couple of days ago, if you're living under a rock, so we had a new set of tariffs coming out. These are the reciprocal tariffs, and and it actually will increase the cost of everything. So tariffs are of course paid by the importer. So in this case, I have a supplier like Sanwa. So Sanwa, I talk to them, and I say, hey, I need to get so much amount of like rice, some broccoli, and some other stuff each week, and then his prices, Sanwa's, will change. So in this case, in our example here, we're trying to buy jasmine rice, and this specific one, Thai Tom Mali, only comes from Thailand. It's some of the best. So rice tends to be fairly cheap. So it's $20 for 20 pounds, roughly. So the new tariff specific for Thailand is a 36% increase on the tax. So that means we actually add additional $7.20 on top of the $20. So then now it's $27.20. Other options here also was a soy sauce. So soy sauce in this case we buy by this giant gallons. It's roughly about 5 cents an ounce.
That's how I need to be buying mine. I gotta be honest with you.
Yep, if you drink this much, you'll probably die from the sodium overdose. 36%, that puts a 0.018 cents, tax. So then it becomes actually like about 6.8
I want to stop you real quick, just because as another business owner, like this doesn't look like a lot of money up front, but we're ordering units on units on units on units of these.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yep. So that's important. Right now I'm taking raw ingredients and then trying to make it into beef fried rice. So here's actually kind of a little bit of a breakdown of a recipe that it is roughly like this on figuring out the costs. So you can probably see here. So I just took these prices from these are commodity prices. So commodities, they the price one place, they're probably priced everywhere. So you buying beef over in North Dakota is probably the same price roughly on the market as you buying from like California.
Sounds about
There
about right. Yep.
Yep, but there might be some differences because of transportation costs. Because once you send things over through the Rockies, it's really expensive in gas. But these is roughly the prices we have here. So here's a set of ingredients. So we kind of take them down. So like 4 ounces of beef, 3 large eggs, and then I'm using 7 ounces of rice uncooked. That's about like a cup and a half cooked rice. And some
$5.89 a dozen an egg is not bad. I need to get those through a supplier. Damn, with current prices.
Yeah, we're probably buying them by
I remember when a dozen eggs was like $2.93. It was like 3 weeks ago.
So that's 3 eggs. I mean, that's probably a lot of eggs, but I'm just going to choose 3 eggs because that was the recipe I have. You've got your miscellaneous vegetables. So that's your peas, your carrots, maybe some broccoli slices here and there. Probably 10 cents worth of sauces. So you put it together. You got the cost of goods sold. And then of course you can put it in a takeout box. And then we actually need to multiply. So the cost of goods sold is how much it takes for me to produce basically one unit of beef fried rice. And then in the restaurant world, what we usually do is multiply. We want to keep that cost of good to be about 25 to 33% of the entire price. So what's really common is we multiply by 3, and that helps you cover your labor and your overhead, and maybe just a little bit more for additional profit. So as you can see here, the price on the menu right now is $11.99. You can go check it up right now at China's Garden over in Bismarck. So we're counting about $11.73. So that means our profit, probably a little additional profit, is probably like, I don't know, 20 cents at the most. Now when we have the tariff applied, now it's actually $12.33. And we are cooking maybe like 50, 70 fried rices a day. Obviously. So as you can see, these kind of add up in scale, do this every day. So now you may be asking me like, hey, Asian man, what's the big deal? It's just 60 cents. That's a big thing. So 60 cents doesn't seem like a lot of money, but of course it adds up over time. And just to remind ourselves that customers are really sensitive on the prices. We actually had this happen to us during the pandemic. So here's a little graph. So this is the price and quantity demand graph. So as prices go up, people's demand for it goes down. As you probably know from your own experience, I don't want to pay an expensive amount. I don't want to pay so much for like the same product. You get mad, you get frustrated. And I was living in an area. We had a family restaurant that's name was also China Garden, and it was in a fairly low. Oh no, it's not a bougie area. Okay. It's actually one of the lower. It's a very low income area in Orlando, relative to Orlando.
Sure.
And we had to increase prices to try to maintain besides inflation and other raising costs during COVID time. But the customers would call. They were mad. A lot of these people, they were in fixed incomes. So we just raised, the price of fried rice by like $1. And, they were
It makes a
furious.
difference.
Everything adds up. And, this is the problem that we have here as between business owners and, customers. So that
me from the perspective of a customer, even if I'm not like making that big of a stink about the price going up, I'm just not going to buy it that often.
I want to go on just a bit of a tangent here. So a while ago, I used to watch a lot of Linus Tech Tips. I don't watch them anymore for lots of reasons. But they were talking about people who were buying like PC parts. And like, I have exactly this amount of money. What do I buy? And they would just be like, we'll spend $20 more and get this. And they didn't understand that like sometimes like this is amount of money I have.
Yeah, this
and if I don't spend it right now, It will not
I'm not gonna have
exist,
it.
and it won't come back.
Yep.
And that's most of America right now. That's most of America. That's been me for 20 years.
That's been most of America for some time. I
So
don't know how long I've been living paycheck to paycheck.
yeah. And so if you're that person, we get it. So please go ahead, Tommy.
Yep.
You're doing wonderful.
Yep. No, of course. So that's the thing. We are very price sensitive. Customers are price sensitive. If you make maybe like double the median income, this does not affect you, right? So like, let's talk about the median income of North Dakota, right? Or even Bismarck. The median income is around like 54K. So if we have these people coming in making like 100K, 150K, they just, a little extra cost is not going to hurt you.
I wish.
No, not a
Are
big
you
deal to
kidding me?
them.
I'd be living like a fucking fat cat out here.
But that's not everybody. So that's the thing. That's less. People who make 100K, that you're much smaller the population, maybe like 10% or less make more than 100K living over in Bismarck.
Yep.
Most people make less than 54K. So these are the things we have to remember. As a business owner, I need to keep my business open. And part of it is I want to, keep my profits enough so I actually make money. And if I don't, but the problem is if I raise costs, am I raising my costs and my prices, it's going to scare the customers. If I don't get enough customers through my door, I have to close up my business. And for you as the customer, as you can see, with inflation and with all the other raising costs everywhere, I'm just talking about what money am I going to spend to go to a Chinese restaurant. We're talking about groceries. We're talking about, transportation. You might need a new car. Who knows? And the idea is you have to figure out what are we willing to sacrifice as a part of your as part of your budget. So you might choose to go eat your favorite restaurants less often. You might forego some time going to different places. You might have to even choose a different store. Like one of the small luxuries I remember is like for some people a luxury might best be going to like Outback once a month. Other people might just be their luxury is just going eating at Chipotle, right, as a slightly higher thing, or just going to McDonald's.
Right.
I remember even as a child how many times just McDonald's was the luxury. And sorry, so this is where we look at what a business does, and this is the things you're going to see for us to like survive as a business. And I pointed out like these three main modes, so we can choose like having substitutions. We'll talk about a little bit about shrinkflation and reducing qualities, and then maybe try to package these up. So these are the things you're going to see at your local businesses, and you'll probably have seen already over the years.
Basically, what I'm already doing at my store.
Yes, this is something that it should not be a surprise to anybody. So one of them are substitutions. So these are what yes, tariffs are kind of intending to do sometimes. Is the idea is that they don't want you to buy things from internationally. They want you to buy it locally. So one of the things we can do is substitute the jasmine rice for this Gulf Pacific extra fancy long grain milled rice.
Well, if the Asians don't want it, why do I want it?
Exactly.
You're already eating it, buddy. But the idea is that it's gonna be a slightly different change in flavor. A lot of times, maybe we can use this rice to then cut into some of the jasmine rice, so we still have some of the flavor imparted. But this is definitely a change in quality that the customer may complain. They might have a different taste. Sometimes we try to buy local. So this is, of course, Kinkelman, probably the most popular soy sauce here in America. But it actually
it's pretty mid.
It's more expensive.
It's beyond mid, and it is expensive.
At $6 6 cents per ounce. But now with the tariffs, this is the go-to soy sauce for price compared to Lee Kum Kee.
No, I don't want to.
But yeah, in this case, your food will taste different. Your food will change. So, but now the second thing is, what if we try to? This is another thing where this is a common thing I hear from business people. What if we try to reduce the expensive ingredients and then just add more filler? In this case, rice, because sometimes the customer can't pay the $11.99 because you guys don't have enough money. We're gonna try to make it cheaper for you guys.
Yeah.
So in this case, one of the ideas when maybe change up the recipe, we want to reduce a little bit of ground beef, maybe reduce like half an egg, or add a little more rice, and then we can see we actually produce now a much cheaper price on the menu. So instead of paying the $12.33, now we're down to $9.78. Now this is an ideal one where so you'll probably see this, when you go to different restaurants, different places where they make a smaller part of the menu, but you'll see that they fill up a lot more on like carbs because carbs are usually cheaper. Where meats,
I see a lot of places do it a lot with a lot of places around here at least do it more with vegetables. So
Okay.
not just like regular vegetables. They'll just start like throwing a massive ton of onions in there.
It's carbs here in the Midwest. 100%.
Yep, vegetables there. Carbs. So
We
this is
don't
another.
eat vegetables and fruits. It's meat and carbs.
So like a really popular style of a meal in restaurants these days is the rice bowl. You might be seeing pop up a lot more. So that's all from trying to change up people's habits because having a big plate of meat, I love it. Expensive.
Yeah.
So the last thing here I want to talk about is what I call like the New Deal, where they're going to package things up in giant. I love the meal deals. You might have seen these too, where they will put together giant things. So you might see this over like a KFC or something, where it's a nice family deal, but part of it is there's a lot more of the cheap items to help offset some of the expensive items. So a big one is probably noodles, right? So instead of putting like fried rice, you can put noodles, and because noodles are not affected then by the tariffs, or we're trying reducing the protein, so you're getting like rice and noodles and then one protein, and then you'll feel full, you'll feel satisfied and happy, but you're technically spending more money getting less.
I'm pressing X to doubt.
So what you're saying is we should all just be getting used to eating like peasants.
Maybe it might be better for you to get more vegetables.
That's true.
But
I love vegetables. I love broccoli.
The good thing is, I guess now we can move on to the article. With these tariffs, we're not really that affected as much because we do produce a lot of the foods we eat over here. But there are certain types of foods you might notice have a much higher tariff. So one of them are like mangoes. It's like mangoes are definitely.
I love mangoes.
I also love mangoes.
Well, too bad.
Oh no, my mangoes.
So on this list here that I guess we have are what we call commodities that are being heavily tariffed. So these are products that we mostly buy that come from international things. As you can probably, if you want to read them out yourself if you like.
Leather products, wearing apparel, crops, metals. We use a lot of those. Wool, silk. Damn it, I use a lot of wool. Processed rice, electrical equipment, which we should go back to. Textiles, motor vehicles and parts, machinery and equipment, ferrous metals, rubber and plastic products, mineral products, transport equipment, metal products, manufacturers, computer, electronic, optical, fishing,
what's the difference between
vegetables, fruits, nuts, wood products? That's your question?
What's the difference between transport equipment and motor vehicles and parts?
Transport equipment is actually like, so the US government does like take, so like a semi trailer and like a
that
truck
kind of
trailer,
shit, okay.
They are totally different legally. And that's a good thing. The problem is guess what? That's how much they're going up by.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, so hey, guess what? You using one of those? That you buying one of those? That's what it's going up by.
Yep. So the idea of tariffs originally were that they're trying to, like I said, promote local, but the issue is that we don't do these things locally.
We don't make anything.
That's because the idea of tariffs goes back to when our industry was just like a budding thing, and they were enacted in order to protect our local businesses essentially from overseas competition, which, at that time that makes sense. So if go ahead. No, what I was gonna say is, if, for example, you had a steel mill that you opened, the tariff on steel is going to make it easier for you to sell stuff here, and make it a little bit harder for people overseas to bring shit over. But that doesn't really work anymore because we don't have any industry that does that kind of manufacturing and shit anymore. Not on the scale that they're alleging they want to bring back.
Right.
You know, especially with it when it comes to shit like auto manufacturing. We don't have massive car plants here, and the companies that do have them aren't even American.
Exactly. And so this is one of the big things that, so the way I described it to a customer today is they keep calling these reciprocal tariffs. Reciprocal tariffs. Like we're tariffing countries.
We're tariffing you because you're tariffing us.
Except the numbers that Donald Trump showed on those boards he held up and were put all over the White House things, those are not tariffs. Those are trade deficits. And that's a really important distinction to make. And so what a trade deficit is the difference between what we buy from a country versus what we sell to
what we sell to them, right?
Yeah, so we don't make that much. We don't,
and that's
the most money.
Because that's sort of by design. I mean,
the stuff we make is the most expensive.
Right, and that's why it is the way it is. You know, like
computer software,
military hardware, phones, computer software.
Legitimately, doctors, engineers, stuff like those are legitimately things that we sell at the highest price because of their salaries. So
I was.
Go ahead.
Sorry to interject. So I was listening into the BBC News.
Mm-hmm.
So they have a podcast thing about that deal with the numbers. And one of the things is that some of the numbers that they're choosing in their calculations does not include services. It only includes goods.
Correct.
Right.
So the United States provides so much services.
Yep. Because when you think about services that include shit like that fucking Microsoft fucking cloud bullshit this goddamn thing was trying to peddle to me when I fucking turned on my computer.
Yeah. Did you buy
but
it?
Shit like that. No. What the fuck do I look like? No, it's cloud services, you know, video streaming services, etc. Shit like that. That's the kind of services that we, you know, distribute throughout the world. It's not just that we don't have an industry. We don't make shoes here. We don't make shirts here. We just don't have the industry for it.
We moved it. So they took the places that made jeans and shirts, and they moved them to Thailand and Vietnam and China and Japan. That here we could make higher end parts, and then we moved those there, and then the factories here got turned into office space for people to design jeans and things of that nature, and that was the whole idea.
Apartments that are overpriced.
Yes, that too. Industrial. I love those though.
So one thing to remember. So these are talking about trade deficits. So a trade deficit, you know, as we mentioned, is that one country is basically giving the other country more money or buying for more money and stuff. The question is why, right? So we're looking at the chart. So I guess I don't know if you have the chart open, or I guess I can send you a picture of what to open for the chart.
Yes.
We're looking here. You know, some of them are having 50% reciprocal tariffs, according to this. So some of these countries are like Lesotho. So where is Lesotho?
I have no idea. That sounds like the spider from Lord of the Rings. Is that correct, Monkey?
No.
I think I'm right.
That's Shelob in Angolia, I think.
That's definitely Shelob in Angolia.
No, I was right.
Did I get it right? Okay.
Yes, you got it right.
No, I was right. Go on.
I'm gonna block you.
I didn't even watch the movies. I already know what they are. But
fine. Angolia wasn't in the movies.
Okay, so the idea is that, you know, an individual who lives in Lesotho, this is what you might be considered like a poor country. So, you know, this is in like, you know, southern Africa. You know, I don't think that they might even be landlocked, but they don't have much money. So as part of the trade, what is the average person from Lesotho who makes probably like $1,000 a year? What are they going to buy from us?
Just like me, for real, for real.
So
what are they going to buy from us?
That's my question. What are they buying from us? But what are we buying from them? Right? So they probably can. Well, what do we buy from them? We can probably get a lot of their agriculture, maybe some of their mining. These are the things that they sell to us. So in this case here,
Oh my God, they're textile manufacturers.
we buy they make our jeans.
They make our
clothes.
jeans.
Let's go.
They actually make the Levi's and the Wranglers that people love. Yeah, those are all made in Lesotho.
They have diamond mines.
Oh,
so,
no.
So we're not talking about blood. Maybe they're blood diamonds. I don't know, but we're not gonna get into that. But they have diamonds.
That's a completely separate thing. Yeah.
So
these are things that we want as America and as a country. But
so
what they want from us.
Day, he was like my third customer of the day. He comes up to buy a pack of dragon shields. With tax, that came to $13.43. And I was standing there talking to somebody about how tariffs and the trade deficit and the reciprocal thing works. And the customer was also interested, so he was standing there. And I said, I'm charging you $13.43 for this. Because that's what you want. You want to buy this from me. And he's like, yep. I said, now, are you mad that I didn't buy $13.43 worth of goods from you? And he's like, no. I said, are you mad enough at me because I didn't buy $13.43 worth of goods to you to charge 10% on top of this fee? And he was just like, wait, that's how it works? I'm like, yep, that's how it works.
That's how this specific
That's how these
tariffs
yes, you're right.
work.
Okay, good point brought up in the chat. So, this is something I did want to bring up. These economic
these
plans.
came straight from ChatGPT. I forget what I was looking at specifically that sort of gave it away to it was the fact that they included what was it, McDonald and fucking the other island where it's just penguins.
My penguins. Everybody knows here that's my favorite animal. I will
terrapin the penguins.
I will die for fucking penguins. So, if you didn't know, the whole idea was literally like, let's do a trade tariff thing into ChatGPT, and they're like, yeah, good enough. Not good enough. Not good enough. All right. So let's go through this little thing I've got up on the screen here. So here are the things. So let's talk about leather products. Gloves, handbags, things of that nature. Because a lot of leather materials are made in Italy and things of that nature. I don't buy a lot of leather because I'm poor. I like leather.
Interesting. So here, that's a fun one.
We don't keep shame here.
So we have a lot of cows. We do sell a lot of our leather.
Yes.
But that means we might send it off to Italy. So therefore we charge. So okay, so let's follow the example, right? So we are going to send our leather to
Italy.
the EU. Yep, Italy.
Yep.
So that means Italy buys from us.
Yep.
That means we
Which,
get.
while we're on this topic, when it comes to products with European countries, you have to consider the EU as one single block. You don't just have deals individually.
Correct. Usually.
Sorry, Tommy, carry on.
Yep, go ahead. Yep. Thank you. So, so in this case, if they buy like $100 worth of leather from us, we didn't charge them a 20% thing. So now it costs them $120 to get $100 of stuff.
Correct.
So then they sit there and process it, and now they have a leather good, and now they have their reciprocal tariff on top of us. So now the bag goes from like $100 to maybe like $400. So now we buy from them the $400, and if it's reciprocal, maybe they put 20% on top of that. So now that means now it is a $480 bag.
Yep.
And
if not more.
Not more.
Because listen, I already bought groceries like the other night, and I feel like I got nothing, and it was $330. So everybody's already jacking up their fucking prices.
Yep.
So
and that's a fun
wearing apparel. We don't make much of that in the United States at all.
Mm-mm.
And when we do, it's stupidly expensive.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. So the fast fashion places. So we just saw Forever 21 just go bankrupt.
yep.
So we're gonna see a lot more of that.
Listen, I don't know if you know, but if your name is Forever 21, you're going to have some problems later on.
It lasted 40 years. It did its best.
They were not Forever 21. At any rate, crops. This is what I want to talk about. Not only are crops one of the biggest buy and sell things that the United States and all of the rest of the world do. This is just one of those things that should have been fucking left alone because it's people's food. It's people's lives.
Yeah, I agree.
So this is a funny one too, because when we're talking about the commodities market, so the idea is that, yes, if I was trying to sell like my corn, and I also import some corn, right?
Mm-hmm.
The imported corn should technically be more expensive.
Tommy, why would you sell corn but also import corn?
Because sometimes, I have different deals. Sometimes I have an excess of corn, right?
And there
that
are
I want to
different
sell
types
something.
of corns for different things.
Yep, but they might also be counted as corn.
I know
corn.
you know. I'm just explaining for the audience.
And no, of course.
All right.
Thank you. But the idea is that, so a commodity means that things are kind of fungible.
Yes.
So that means like one person's corn is no different from any other person's corn. There's no specialty involved. But the idea is that if one person's corn is more expensive, I could do a couple things. That means I could also just eat, and then I could try to sell. If I'm the person who's selling the cheaper corn, I could just sell my cheaper corn and get my profit. Or I can raise my prices of my corn so it matches the more expensive corn, so that everybody will then now sell at that price, and I'll make money. I make money for free, right? Because that's the thing. Everybody has to buy the corn, and commodity sometimes acts as extremely, maybe it doesn't really make sense, but that's just kind of how it works to make money. You would think people will try to just lower the price and keep it a fair deal. Nope. I'm here to make money on this one. So
don't offload, make money.
That's right.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
So I was just doing a little bit of diving into that. Trump used ChatGPT. And if this doesn't make it any more evident, he put Trump fucking tariffs on a U.S. military base.
Yeah, that's how that works.
It's about time we taxed our own military.
Oh my God! How can anybody trust this guy? They're not even doing real work. So the other one I wanted to talk about in crops was soybeans, because North Dakota does export a shitload of soybeans. And I talked to several of my community members and customers, and one of them was just like, that's fine by me. Fuck them. I'm allergic to them. Also, it's bad for everybody's economy. So we export a lot of soybeans to China. That's done. All those farmers, they're fucked. Actually fucked. A bunch of them were at the protest today. This is why we had to start our own oilseed council and everything in North Dakota with the legislative session, But it's just infuriating that literally Trump was like, I'm here for farmers. And then was like, I've never been to a farm.
Yep. And this is what happened. It's like when we started doing these, you might remember back in the first term of Trump, where he did also apply tariffs to kind of use the foods. And one of the things is China needs to feed its people. So what happens is they actually made deals with Brazil. Instead of paying the tariffs, we just say we talk with Brazil, and then Brazil starts cutting down the Amazon rainforest to grow soybeans and grow pigs.
And none of that's good for anybody.
Yep, it's especially not good for our farmers. Not good for
Not good for the Amazon rainforest. Not good for the world.
So these are the things that are important, because the idea is that the things we export, you can probably find a market somewhere else, and that's one of the things. With tariffs, we try to say, hey, try to make it local, But if we don't have the capability to produce locally, then it's just what they call it, just a tax.
And that's the
'Cause you
same thing
need
with
to
like
buy.
coffee. Where do we make coffee in one place in America? It's in Hawaii, and we don't make that
Hawaii, and it's
much.
very fucking expensive because there's not that much. Yeah, that's the one. Heard of McDonald Island.
Yep. Thank you, Travis. Yep.
Yes,
Yep,
thank
thanks,
you.
Travis.
We're going to tax those penguins. Yep.
My poor penguins.
Yeah,
What
look,
did they ever do?
they're wearing suits. All right, that means they have money.
Look at how they walk and how they interact. They are just like me for real, for real.
They just need to say thank you.
Oh my god. Well, all right. Metals. Metals is a big one. Guess what? They're used in all of technology.
Do we have mines in North Dakota? I guess a lot of mining, or not
Just
really.
coal, mostly.
Yeah, I think that's I want to say that's most of the mining that goes on here in the U.S. has been coal mining.
I think they stripped all
I
the
don't-
metals out in the 20s.
Yeah, I think we stripped all that shit out, and I don't think many people want to go or have wanted to go historically into all the other areas where there could be more precious metals. Like I don't think you want people strip mining the fucking Yellowstone or fucking
Please no,
you
but
know,
Trump
yeah.
will like that's the next thing.
that's
They
the
don't
next,
give a
that's
shit
gonna be
about
the
our
next
national
step. They don't
parks.
give a fuck. No, they don't.
Okay, wool and silk. This is big to me. I'm a big wool guy. All right. It doesn't make that much of a deal here. The problem is we import a lot from the UK, and that means it's still going up by 10%.
Yeah.
I love wool socks. I love a wool suit because I'm 1,000 years old.
Yep.
That pisses me
Yeah.
off. Silk is cool. I can't afford it. Processed rice. That's like all the rice that comes out of the United States is processed. Tommy, tell me about processed rice.
It's good.
It is good. It is good. It's fortified.
Wait, so
you should eat
so
it.
it's
It
it's
cooks
wrong.
easy.
So processed
is
rice
processed rice
is-
like
that's your white rice,
Yeah.
basically. So, because the idea is that yes, so you have regular, just like brown rice and white rice. All that's technically is considered processed rice. It takes like the bagged rice you buy at the grocery store is processed rice. You're not
Cool.
eating like the rice stalks, you know.
That
So,
reminds
no.
me. Do you guys like Brussels sprouts?
Yes.
Oh, I love
A
them.
hit or miss for me.
Have you ever seen how they come naturally?
Yeah.
They look fake. They look AI
Yeah.
generated. Just buy them frozen in a bag. All right. Electrical equipment. What's electrical equipment?
I guess like
Literally
I would say
everything
shit
we're
like
looking
everything
at.
we fucking have, like your monitors, your fucking TVs, your refrigerators, your fucking your
Toaster.
fancy Samsung fucking washing machine, your fancy fucking Samsung smart fucking kitchen and dishwasher.
It has a lot to
Or
do with
whatever the
like how
fuck.
many transistors and resistors in it, which guess what, by the way, you've just got them.
Yeah.
So
Yep. So you
that's
got
going
textiles.
up
You got
10%.
Wait! It's got trans in it. It's got to be banned.
DI, woke gay.
Yep.
V2.
Woke microwaves. Yep. Yep. So you got textiles. You got your rugs. You know, that's 9%.
Yes, textiles is
Yeah.
more than so. That's like curtains, rugs, car covers, piece like if you're trying to do like the interior of a car, that's a textile.
Like bedding.
Bedding is actually, yeah, bedding is a textile.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Motor vehicles and parts.
Yeah, this is the big one. Well, one of the big ones. This is one of the most. I think this is one of the big ones in my opinion because this is one of the things that he
This
was
is our whole
constantly
economy. Like our whole
talking
economy
about.
is based around vehicles. Our whole
That's
whole
it's if you
structure
you know
of our society.
if you talk to him, sure it revolves around their fucking automobile industry and that it used to be great because we had people in Detroit making it and now we don't. Now you have like Ford and Dodge
Guess what?
and Chevy and all
Republicans
them.
drove them out last time.
Yes, they did.
So
Yep.
And now you got
I would love.
now you got
cars were made
Tesla
here.
over there.
Oh my god, committing felonies. All right, I want to talk about this for a second, because this is Canada news. Have you guys heard about this like Tesla scam in Canada with like rebates and stuff?
No,
Yes,
So,
I've heard about this one. Yeah.
maybe.
so basically, what they claimed is that like multiple Teslas were sold every 3 minutes
Oh,
across all
yeah.
of Canada in like a
Yeah.
weekend, just so they could claim
Yeah, I heard about that.
millions in fucking rebate money. So I always tell people, I'm like, don't feel bad. Every CEO that's run three major companies, like global companies, is either in jail or on the run. So Elon's coming up next, baby. The problem is you shouldn't buy a Tesla no matter what. Those cars suck dick, like in not the fun way. Um,
All
but
right. So
you should go buy like if you need. I literally was talking to a guy today. He had two cracks in the block of his engine, and as it's gonna get warmer, it's getting worse. And the like text that he took it to, like, we ain't fucking touching this. And he took it to his brother, who's a master mechanic, and his brother's just like, you should have started, shopping for a car 2 days ago. And so they got a good deal. So if you need a car, you need to buy it. I'm not fucking kidding. This week, go buy it.
you know,
Yeah, like yesterday.
Yep.
the good thing is, a lot of the cars that are probably available are, you would think
Used.
a lot of them we do manufacture in America, but the parts themselves
But the
might be coming
parts
from other places.
themselves come from other places. That's right.
Bingo.
So here we go. So here in this case, this is now our so when we're here, right, this is just like our imports from 2023. So just because it's probably pretty similar to 2024 for the most part. As you can see here, we have 12.4% of the things we import are cars, trucks, and parts. So that's a lot of the things we're bringing in. So and also we get mechanical parts, pharmaceuticals, oils, and the things we send out basically. Here's our exports. We send out a lot of like high tech machineries, oils, pharmaceuticals, car parts, and stuff. So
Yeah, and a lot of that machinery comes down to, all your household names for like Caterpillar
Yep.
and fucking
Bobcat.
John Deere,
Guess
Bobcat.
what? North Dakota, we got the biggest Bobcat manufacturer in the world. And that's going to hurt like the fourth biggest employer in this state.
Yep.
and that's the weird one where you guys are probably I just want to make sure this is true or not. But it's not like we just take raw steel and then make like a tractor.
No.
There's a lot of
No.
intermediary
There's
parts that come in
Yes.
from different countries.
Yes.
There are factories in other countries that just
And those parts include like the actual shit needed to make them and the parts necessary to maintain those machines
And-
that make these things.
And so, like, North Dakota has North American Steel, and Bobcat does try to buy from them, but they just don't produce enough for how many Bobcats Bobcat needs to make.
Yeah.
Yep. So we're
That's
putting
the
insulated
thing.
wires, batteries, semiconductors. It goes on and on and on. These are the world, and we aren't manufacturing. We're very global still. So we
Yeah,
can't pick a single place. Yeah.
The idea that we're trying to isolate become an isolationist fucking country is just so asinine, dude. It's like I have an old fucking BMW. You know what kind of fucking transmission that thing's got? It's got a GM automatic transmission in it.
Hey, as long as it's not a Nissan.
But it just goes to show you, it's even other fucking countries that send their shit back have American shit in there most of the time. So it's we're reliant on one another, and we've been that way for a reason, but here we are.
Yes.
Yep. And if big business has their way, what they want is to make things at the cheapest price possible. These is all business. You want to minimize costs, maximize profit, and sometimes that just means setting it over a country that has cheaper labor.
Mhm.
Less labor laws. Because nobody wants to be spending. Want to pay Americans $15 an hour to pick our fruit when we can just pay like $15 a week for people somewhere else.
Yep. And it's important to realize why Trump and that organization put these in place. It's obviously from a misguided place, duh. But they think this is part of some like 50-year plan where they're going to have this like 50 to 100-year Trump Republican dynasty to try to build up Fort USA. Except they tried this before with President Hoover and it didn't fucking work. It failed immediately, and we know that. And it's not working now, obviously, because the world economy matters.
The world economy, yeah, they're just. I mean, they're just gonna fucking turn around and just continue, continue their lives without us. That's what's gonna happen.
Yep. Well, look at
just
Trump.
like
Trump was able to set aside 3,000 years of beef between Japan, China, and South Korea. Give him the Nobel Peace Prize, I guess.
He wants it so bad.
Let's see if I can
God.
find a. So this is the last time one of the last times we implemented like these kind of tariffs that are not very targeted, kind of global.
Hey, I remember this from Ferris Bueller.
Yes, the Smoot-Hawley, Tariff Act.
Yeah.
So one of the I'm trying to find out. This basically is one of the things that kind of set off like the Great Depression.
Yep.
So and you can probably take a look at this. I'm not going to go into this. I'm not a history person. There's also like the Great Chicken Tax between us and the Great Britain. So that's kind of why it's over there. We might actually have taxes and tariffs on like light trucks. That's all the 25% chicken tax.
Pickups.
It's still in effect. Because chickens are something that we both sell. Great Britain and us. So
yeah, but theirs is probably better.
Well, I haven't eaten a British chicken in a while.
Oh, we should do that. We could make it a business expense.
They actually have regulations and shit that they have to follow versus our whatever the fuck.
Give
raise
them
your
bird
chickens
flu. Put it in a package.
Yep.
Grind it up and make it a patty.
I want to swap back out of this. So enough of that.
Excellent. I will go back to this then. Yeah, and tariffs are a tax on you. That's the one thing I want to keep reminding people is
the companies
go ahead.
The companies are not going to foot the bill for this. They're going to pass the cost right along to the customer, and it's going to end up hurting your wallets while they just keep amassing profits.
The one thing I want to ask everybody is if Trump has the power to put a tariff in, who's he putting it on? Does he have the power to put it on the Chinese people?
No.
Nope. Does he have it?
That's not how that works.
On the Canadian people? Nope. Those tariffs go to the American people because that's who he has the power over. A tariff is a tax on you. So I brought this
about this.
So I run a small business, Parallax Games, Bismarck, North Dakota, parallaxgames.org if you want to check it out. I'm collecting statements from my store's distributors, and we have 4 kind of major ones that we use for kind of everything. So the first one that I got a semi-statement from was ACD Distribution. They're out of Madison, Wisconsin. I love working with them. They're fantastic. And here's the email. So I asked for a statement, and they said, Justin and Alex, I do expect pricing changes to occur. However, I do not expect that there will be a general statement regarding pricing changes. Any pricing changes will be reflected on the website as they are communicated to us from our suppliers. Pretty boilerplate. Games Workshop. They make Warhammer. I love my rep there. Jason, he's the fucking best. If you ever see this, I love you. I said, you got a statement? He goes, I asked. I think we'll get one later. So we're waiting on that one. And then from Southern Hobby Supply, they're out of St. Louis and other places. They're kind of our biggest one right now. They said, as it stands, Ultra Pro will be increasing 5% minimum on the 18th. Cardboard 10% as well. Other products will no doubt also increase. As far as an official SHD statement, I'm not sure on that. So these reps already know prices are going up because of tariffs. And we might as well roll in the video game news because there's really only one piece of it. And it's that the Switch 2 got announced.
Yep.
And
And it,
go ahead.
they're holding off. They're holding off, I think, on pre-orders because they don't know how the tariffs are going to affect it.
Yep. So originally those were supposed to go up next week sometime. And I think it was the 9th they were supposed to go
Yeah,
up.
sounds right.
But also tariffs are supposed to go in effect on the 9th. So they're like, we'll see. The thing is, and I shared a spicy meme earlier, and I'm going to put that on this stream forever. The fact of the matter is the one in the United States costs $449.99. If you take the Japanese one, which is region locked, that is not a thing. Region locking is literally a checkbox in software. It doesn't cost them anything. But if they region lock it, they only have to sell it in Japan. And they can sell it for the real retail cost, which if you translate it into American dollars, is $350. So we're paying $100 more because of the tariffs that happened in Vietnam, where they sent all of their parts to be manufactured and then to be sent to the United States. It sucks. This is something. This is gonna straight up radicalize a bunch of gamers, I think.
Yep.
I thought it was fake when I first saw that they were delaying it, and I went, "LOL, gamers rise up." But unironically, you should bitch about the things that affect you. That's how America works. That's how we're built. Bitch about the things you don't like.
Well, we also got some additional, I guess, news.
Yeah.
So I guess I mean, I probably, as you as a hobby shop kind of owner probably know already.
Yeah.
That a lot of your products are experienced. So one of them is from I think everybody should know about Steve Jackson Games. They do the Munchkin series and stuff. So they actually had I think I put a link in our show notes real quick, just kind of squeeze it in there. So they had launched a Kickstarter about I think a year or two ago about their new like ultimate Munchkin thing, and the problem is their shipping of the product did not get past the deadline for the tariffs. So they actually had to pay an extra 54% basically
Damn.
to deliver something that was already from
That's
so
already
It was
ordered.
manufactured.
Right.
it was manufactured, yes. So
Just to sell it.
just to sell it. So now they're paying like $40 just for a $25 product product, whatever. They already had the price kind of locked in for the Kickstarter. Kickstarters don't usually make that much money, to my knowledge.
No.
So now they're actually eating the costs. 54% increase. That's insane. A big company like Steve Jackson Games, Popular Game Munchkins, they may be able to eat the cost, but a lot of board gaming companies, people who make board games is not really that big. It's a lot of small businesses and people, if I remember right.
Literally, we get like emails from just like people like, "Hey, you want to try my board game?" Like, nah, give me a demo. Let's try it out. And like stuff like, because the games get manufactured in little production houses in like Germany and places like that. Guess what? There are tariffs on all those countries.
Well, if you want to read that bottom paragraph,
Which,
Uh,
if you're frustrated, you're not alone.
No. I wasn't able to see the entire thing. The one that starts with tariff. I'll read it. So
Sure.
Tariffs, when part of a long-term strategy to bolster domestic manufacturing, can be an effective tool, but that only works when there's a plan to build up the industries. That's an emphasis that needs to be put in there. Needed to take over production. There's no national plan. That's another big part. There's no national plan for a lot of these things that they're putting tariffs on. Like there's no. They have concepts of a plan, I guess you could say, from what's his fucking name said ages ago. But there's no real plan in place to bring back like paper mills, fucking. There's no real plans
Steel
to bring
mills, any
back
of that.
steel mills, none of that shit. None of that has been in. They've talked about bringing back auto manufacturing. They've talked about bringing back coal, but for fucking what?
One,
What
coal's
the
bad
fuck
for
are we
the
gonna do?
environment.
Yeah, what the
Here's the
fuck are we
thing
gonna
is,
use
like,
coal
even
for
if we
now?
built, like, okay.
Not even the energy companies want to bring back coal.
No. And even if we wanted to build 24 steel mills in the country, one, it would take about 5 years of really good
Yeah.
dedication to get those mills up and running. And then here's the problem. We don't have any fucking iron or anything or whatever to make steel. We'd have to import that.
I'm sure we do, but we would either
Wow.
fucking
We'd have to mine national parks.
we're either going to have to import it or go fucking strip mine the entire country.
Yep.
So, one way or another, we're fucked.
I
we
am
continue
for
with it.
preserving our national parks. I will say that right. And that's
Yeah.
like I was talking to some German nationals actually the other day, and they're like, "Oh my god, the Germans love national parks. They love to come to the United States and see the national parks. Like they're a huge part of our tourism
Yeah,
industry."
they are. They're a huge part of. That's why the National Forest Service had so many. And they didn't even really have that many people. What the National Forest Service employees did was very important because they maintained a lot of what the national parks are.
Yes.
They pick up trash. They make sure nobody's out there fucking playing tag with fucking bears. They make sure nobody's
starting
fucking
fires. Make sure people
yeah.
aren't getting hurt. Make sure people have enough water and things to eat. Make sure people are. They do so many things.
They're out there educating people on
Yep.
how to properly interact with the environment.
And that poor gal who they did a story about who was like, well, I voted for Trump and I lost my dream job and I thought I was going to get IVF and now I'm not getting any of it. Like, my initial instinct was like, well, we fucking told you. But also, I feel so bad because, like, she just wants what normal people want. She got a dream job. She wanted to have a family. That's what we should be providing. And Trump said he was going to do it, and he did the opposite.
Yeah, he said he was gonna do a lot of shit, and everybody present on this fucking stream knew that was a fucking lie.
That's true.
Well, this isn't for us. This is for everybody else. To explain what the fuck is happening, and this is to maybe try to have a dialogue with everybody else who fell for the fucking lie.
And we're here for you. Like, I want to shout this from the rooftop. You're not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Let's be neighbors. Let's be friends. Come to my house. I love to have a barbecue. Like, there's a couple people up my street that have Trump flags. I want you to take those flags down and come be my neighbor. But it's going to take those people time. That's just the fact. And
it's going to take them it's either going to take their time or they're going to double down, and then it's just going to keep getting fucking.
There are some people you're never going to convince.
Yeah, there's just some people you're never going to get through to, and that's fine.
Some people have reached the limit of their comprehension.
Yeah, we're not. This is not. This is not a game. This is not like a football team. My team versus your team. We're just here trying to make sure that people get the help that they need. And that the people we vote for do the job that we want them to do, because we don't have the power. We have the power to our voice and our talk, but
we have the power. That's the real answer. We have the power.
We do have the power. Yep.
And I noticed this at the protest, and I just have to keep telling people, you're gonna have to be in cahoots with people who you find cringe. There's some cringe ass people at the protest today, but you know what? We have the same goals. We're gonna have to learn to work together.
But who fucking cares, man? At this point, if as long as you want some sort of commonality that makes shit better for everybody, like I don't need to agree with you on everything.
Yep, agreed.
There's just one main fucking thing that we need to all agree on, and that's that we need to improve as a country.
I really don't agree with Kamala Harris's stance on Gaza and Israel, but I voted for her because she was clearly the lesser evil. And I think, unfortunately, that's where we're at until we get some real reform. So, real quick, we don't have to do video games. We've already been going for a while. I just wanted to talk real quick. I got my waifu in my mobile game.
Oh,
I didn't
congrats.
even have to spend $1 zillion. I spent like $60, so I'm not mad. And I got a bunch of other good stuff. It's funny because on the sheet for games played for Al, I just put diarrhea.
Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's kind of rude. A little rude.
That's who I am. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I finished that. That game's great. You should fucking play it. I think it got announced for PS5 too now, maybe. If not, it will be soon. That game's great. It's
Yeah. Wait. What? What got announced? I'm sorry. My cat's
Indiana
just
Jones and
fucking
the
had
Great
got the
Circle.
Zoom news. Oh, okay.
It's a first-person Indiana Jones game. If you don't like Indiana Jones, it's not going to change your mind. If you tangentially like Indiana Jones, it's the best movie they ever put out. It's just a playable video game. I got a little bit of Monster Hunter Wilds. I think I will probably play some of that title update tomorrow. I was going to do some on stream tonight, but I'm tired.
I might try it tomorrow too.
Maybe we could stream it. Got my waifu, Draco. I might throw her into the rotation of pictures because she's cool as fuck. I've been playing a shitload of RoboCop Rogue City. This is a game made by Nacon, and they have kind of a shady past with like some pretty bad license games. They took this seriously, and they made a good ass game. I'm a huge RoboCop movie fan. The first two movies are amazing. The first movie is a masterpiece. The miniseries is fine, and the third movie sucks, but I love it.
The miniseries is fine.
He fights a gold RoboCop. It's sick. It was on Sci-Fi. Maybe we'll do a screening.
One of those.
The 2014 RoboCop, the reboot. Oh, they tried so hard. They failed so bad. They got such good people, and that movie just sucked. Unfortunately, I watched it last night. However, RoboCop Rogue City, if you like RoboCop 1 and 2, you should fucking play RoboCop Rogue City. That game is amazing. The way it's set up is it's a first-person shooter, except a lot of it is like a point-and-click adventure where you're like looking around and solving crimes, and then occasionally they're just like, hey, by the way, bad guys are here, and the fucking gun comes out, and I'm like, yeah, this is kind of how being a cop works. So, you, like, seriously, like, you should play this game. It's great. They tackle a lot of issues that like we would talk about in a way that is poignant and to the point and satirical. So highly recommend RoboCop Rogue City. I'm going to play some more of that very soon. I want to finish it. What else did I put down on here? Oh, I put down PGA 2023. I like golf. Me and the president got that in common. I like golf. Golf's fun. I'm a white guy. I gotta play golf.
Yeah.
That's good.
PGA 2023 is the version of that game you should buy because it has a bunch of good shit in it. It's not super full of microtransactions. The accessibility options are cool. I had a great time with it. That's been my. I got an ROG Ally. That's the game I play on that before I go to bed. It's super chill. Music's good. The announcers are
If I'm gonna play a golf game, I'm gonna play Mario Golf on the Switch.
You could play that on an ROG Ally too. That's probably a better golf game overall. Except it's really funny because I'm terrible at it. And so like I'll be going for a double bogey and I'll miss it, and the announcer's like, well, nope, didn't get that one. Try again next time. I'm like, shut up. Like, I know I suck. But it's really cool.
There's a microtransactions, so I can play as my favorite golfer, Rory McIlroy.
You can play as Rory McIlroy. There are microtransactions, and in the older EA games, you do not have to engage with them. They usually just like, we kind of...
They usually just go away.
Yep. So, highly recommend PGA 2023.
I used to play the FIFA games, back when I played like 19, 20, all the way to all the way to like 22, and then I I couldn't do it anymore because
Do
I
you
mean
ever- Do you
it was
ever
just
play
more of
any
the
of the
same shit.
soccer manager ones, the football manager ones?
No, I feel like if I start doing that, I would just not do anything else.
See, I also look at those going like, yeah, I could get into that. I like stats. Stats are fucking sick.
Well,
Especially after
I would just build mega teams repeatedly.
I
And
would just be Ted Lasso.
yeah.
Yeah, and win forever. All right, let's talk about some traditional games. We had the Dragonstorm pre-release, Magic the Gathering, Tarkir Dragonstorm. Hey, there's a bundle.
Yeah,
There's a pre-con.
Dragonstorm. Yep.
I opened 3 boxes myself because I own a store, and I got almost everything I need. I want some weird odds and ends. The set's full of gas. If you like Magic the Gathering and you like dragons, go to your LGS, get some Tarkir Dragonstorm. Pre-release is going on right now. It's fantastic. Before prices go up, because prices are still reasonable. If your LGS doesn't sell Commander decks at retail price, fuck them. Because we do. We still make money.
It's definitely it's a solid one. It's the first time in my LGS where I think it was a sold out during the Friday night pre-release, where they were having wait lists for people who were canceling, and people are loving it. People are returning back to Tarkir. That's a different set. Return to Tarkir.
It's I don't want to call it a greatest hits because it's more like a band you love from back in the day got together and put out another great release. They still got it kind of thing.
Yep, and I did participate in a pre-release. I went 0-3 because it's my first 0-3. 3 color is tough.
Yes.
I decided to splash for a 4th color.
Yes.
That was not a good idea. But it was definitely one of the grindiest pre-releases I've ever had, which is good. It's a beautiful feeling when you're just top decking. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and honestly, everybody who played in my shop kind of said the same thing, but they had a good time. So that's probably a good sign. There's a bunch of good lands, a bunch of good mana dork creatures to help you out in a limited format. So it's pretty sweet. Good cards in the set. I really like Mox Jasper, even if it's bad. I really like Draco Genesis, even if it's bad. Voice of Victory, on the other hand, that's a real ass Magic card. That's gonna win some games for me.
Yeah. Live opening. Here we go.
Yes.
Gonna make this nice, beautiful sound. Yep. We got. Yep. While Al just could sit here listening to us, mumble on about,
Yes.
No, I said, oh my god, do you about the sound?
It's pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I just pulled Sarkhan, right live here. Yes, we got it. We'll be beholding some dragons, boys.
Yeah.
I'll be making my first dragon deck. Beholding my second one. Another sound. Ruining his ears.
No, it's fine.
We all love our dragons, don't we, boys?
Yes.
Let's see. We got something. They got some of the good things. They have some of the best. Some of the nice arts. He has a little dragon frame. Yeah, that's
I love those so much. Yep.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Oh, that's sick.
Pretty sick. Yep. We got a Carsey Revenant, Flying Death Touch Lifelink. That's a 3/3. 1 black. This is push as all hell. Let's go.
Yeah.
So you're gonna love it. If you love your Magic, it's time to come back. Come back.
Play Magic with us. It's a great time. Or Lorcana. Lorcana's cool too.
Lorcana's great.
Other than that, so that set's great. The next Magic set is Final Fantasy.
Oh yes.
I got a very concerning email about Final Fantasy from Wizards, so we'll see how that goes. Because normally I order like 8 to 9 pre-release cases. That's usually 15 times 9 pre-release kits. And from what I understand, if this email is correct, I'm only getting 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's bad. So we'll see. It's still really early, so we'll see. I did want to talk about the Switch 2 just a little bit. It comes out June 5th.
Coming out?
Say again?
You gonna talk about Metro Prime coming out?
Yes, I want you to talk about Metroid Prime.
Oh,
But
well, I don't know shit about it.
before I get there, so it's going to be $450 because of tariffs. We'll see how that plays out. We have some news next week about Congress maybe limiting tariff power. If you want a new set of Joy-Cons, they're $90.
Jesus Christ, on motorbike.
They can be used like a mouse now, and if you've ever seen,
Oh yeah, I did see that. That looks pretty fucking cool.
and so like if you've ever seen how a Lenovo Legion Go is kind of like an ROG Ally, except the controllers slide off like a Switch. You can use them like a mouse, except it's worthless. It's not used for anything. Except Nintendo will use it for something, so that's pretty cool. It's got a C button for chat.
Wow.
Finally, 2025 is the year for chatting. There's a $50 USB camera.
Yeah.
I assume for streaming?
Ah.
I don't know.
I mean, it could, I guess, then
Maybe. I mean, maybe they'll be able to put maybe they'll let you like connect to like your Twitch or whatever.
Yeah. Or what I'm hoping is it's like the Game Boy camera. Remember those?
Oh yes, didn't have one of those.
Oh man, so it was this fucking. Okay, you take a Game Boy, and it's got a cartridge. You stick in it, and on top of it is a fucking ball that is a little camera. And you take the grainiest black and white photos possible. And then there was a little printer that
it was like a little Polaroid.
It was way worse than a Polaroid because the little printer was essentially
I was gonna say a little shitty.
Yeah, because it was essentially just like a receipt tape printer because it was all just black and white thermal paper.
Oh, he got it up. Look at that.
That's the one.
So it's a really bit, So this is the big one. Game Boy camera came out. That old Game Boy printer.
Yep, I had one. I had both of them, and the quality on the screen is how it would print out.
Yep, and your classic dot matrix one is almost. I know you could have back in the days at Blockbuster. I know they had like a Pokemon Snap booth.
Yep,
I think you print out these out there too.
Bring your memory card and put it right in there. Yep. And so what we did with the Game Boy camera is snap pictures of porno mags.
Well, yeah. I didn't have one at the time, but definitely that makes a good use
I'm
of it.
old enough to where I had a little fake part-time job to where I could save up for my own. And then we would steal my buddy, who was a neighbor, his dad's porno mags and take pictures with it.
Take pictures of them and then take them home.
Yep. And then you could print them out on your little receipt paper if you wanted. It's going to be more... I don't want to get into the minutia of the chipset and power and whatever because it's stupid.
Check the chat. Travis says they have a Game Boy camera modified to take modern SLR lenses. That's fucking amazing.
I need that. I fucking need that. That's hot. I want a bunch of those cartridges where they're just like a generic like N64 Game Boy cartridges, but you load ROMs on them. I want all of those, but if one of them is also a Game Boy camera, I want that. As far as the Switch 2 power goes, it's essentially on the same architecture that a PS4 was on, except it's smaller, more powerful, more efficient, because that's how technology works. So it's like a fancy PS4 Pro, more or less. It's got an OLED screen and all that shit. It's got Wi-Fi 6, which is a big help because the Wi-Fi on that first Switch is terrible. It is backwards compatible.
Yeah.
And then also, if you want Mario Kart, it's $80.
Yeah.
What's that about? I don't get it.
Games have been too cheap for too long.
Games have been fucking increasing in price. I mean, I think that Steam didn't a few games on Steam try to tell for like $70.
I think Call of Duty might have.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then and then it's for Nintendo to do it. It's doesn't really surprise me.
Not from them, no.
No, Nintendo's always been, the kind of people that
They make money
will
on the
charge,
hardware.
right, will charge more for shit like that. But on the flip side, I mean, with most Nintendo games, you get the finished product.
Yes.
So it's not like you're buying a fucking $70 Call of Duty game that's got like a shitty little campaign and then it's mostly
yeah,
multiplayer, and then you gotta buy like 20 fucking season passes later
right.
on, and it ends you costing you like $200 to $300
And
when
then
all
I
is said
want to
and
play as
done.
Judge Dredd and he costs $8, and then I want to play as
Yeah,
Sylvester
exactly.
Stallone and he's $20. Yeah, I know. I used to like Call of Duty. Yeah, Nintendo's not that bad. That is the thing about this Mario Kart is it does come with everything. It is like the penultimate edition. So I kind of get it. That's why the $500 bundle where it comes as $50 is like kind of a good deal. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not going to pre-order one. I kind of wanted to. That's just too much money.
I'm not gonna pre-order one. I never pre-order shit like that because it's always gonna have problems to start out anyways.
That's the facts. Yep. I'm a rube, so I do it. I'm a trendsetter, no big deal.
I'm just happy that they named it like reasonable, so that this is going to be a big hit. Because we know what Switch 2 means.
They should
Nobody
have
knew what
named it
Wii
the
U meant.
Wii U too.
Yeah, nobody.
I mean, yeah, Wii U is technically what should be called Wii
What
2.
What
But,
about the Switch Wii?
Switch Wii.
Oh, that's awful.
Wii Switch.
Yeah, there it is.
That would have been good. That would have been
We
good.
switching.
When the Wii U was so unpopular that when the day it came out, I was walking home. I lived in Seattle at the time, and I would walk from my office to the train, and there was a GameStop like right in the middle. And I was like,
And they had a ton of them.
They had like 20 of them. And they had a bundle deal where it's like you want an extra controller and a couple of games, we'll give it to you for like $100 only extra. And so I was like, fuck it, I got.
They'll give you a butler if you buy it.
Yeah, they gave me everything. And so like I got a copy of Zombie EU. That game fucks. The game's great.
And then you went to lunch with Shigeru Miyamoto.
I fucking wish. That'd be great. No, I got on the train and came home. My wife was like, "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "It's a Wii U." She's like, "All right, whatever." I only spent like $300, so she's like, "Oh, okay." Also, Lego City Undercover that game is more good than it has any right to be. So play that if you have.
A lot of Lego games are like that.
They're pretty good.
I'll get one eventually. I'm just not getting one for pre-order, especially.
Yeah,
for that
no,
price.
I'll get one simply because Metroid Prime 4 is gonna be released with it. That's I hate to be that guy, but I gotta play my Metroid Prime. Man.
Tell me about Metroid. You're a lore guy for a couple of specific things, and I didn't realize Metroid was one of them.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to fucking talk about.
Okay, so the reason I bring this up is because I also love Metroid games, but I'm not like a diehard fan. And we were talking about it at work with some customers who were super excited for them as well. I was like, "What was that fucking weird one where they made her baby crazy?" And then somebody's like, "Oh, that's Other M. We don't fucking talk about Other M." And then I was like, "Is that the one? I don't think that's the one." And so I went over to my computer and I got on Monkey on Discord. I'm like, you know this shit. What's that fucking weird Metroid game? And he literally goes, "That's Other M. We don't talk about Other M." And I'm like, "Oh right, now I'm remembering Other M."
Yeah, because it was like it was just the weirdest fucking game. It had like no set. It had like no set. It didn't know whether it wanted to be 2D or 3D, and then the lore was just all over the fucking place.
Just hours of cutscenes of Samus just being like, "War is hell. Also, I wish I was pregnant." Like, what is happening?
What?
Yeah, like the game.
Yeah,
it's fucking,
it was
like
fucking
misogynistic and weird in a way. So
Like the only good quote unquote lore that we got from that was some of the like creature shit.
Yeah.
But aside from that, that game was just we don't talk about it. So let's just stop talking about it.
Is it like the Monster Hunter game that was just Pokemon?
Wait. Oh, stories?
I think so.
Stories are fine. They're just like grindy and weird. They're not bad. They're just a different type of game for sure. I've never made it like more than 20 hours through one or two because it's like, oh, I don't want to level up this much. I'm too old now. But yeah, I'm really excited for Metroid Prime 4. That looks great. Monkey actually talked me into playing the remastered ones on Switch, so I have those.
There's only one remastered right now. I'm not sure if they're gonna do 2 and 3.
They fucking
if
better.
they remaster 2, that would be probably
that is my favorite Prime game.
I think 2. I don't know, man. It's for me it's a toss up between 1 and 2.
Not
one was just so. I fucking blocked you.
I really
no,
like
definitely
Dread.
not other M. Dread was great, but I mean, I'm talking about just like the Prime series. Because the Prime series have a special spot for me because that was my very first Metroid game, believe it or not.
Oh, interesting.
You know, I didn't know actually about Metroid until I had played Metroid Prime, and I actually got to the point where I was like the only kid in my fucking school that could beat Metroid Prime on hard mode.
Yeah.
So it was I got fucking hardcore into the Metroid Prime shit.
That's awesome.
But after Metroid Prime, I got into I played the Metroid Fusion, I played the Metroid Zero Mission, I played the Zero Metroid. No, excuse me, the Super Metroid.
Yeah.
I played Metroid 2.
Yeah. Those are my two. Super Metroid, Metroid 2, Return to Samus. Those are mine. I love those.
And I don't know if you played the Metroid 2 remake on that they made for the DS. That's pretty fucking good too.
Is it? I'm gonna try that.
Yeah, it's very good.
Metroid 2. Cool. Well, let's take a look at here if there's anything else. Okay, here are some other games that we know we're getting. Super Mario Party Jamboree. Mario Party's alright. I don't care.
Mario Party's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Gotta expect that. Tears of the Kingdom.
Like a remake?
It sounds like it's like an HD, like an upgrade version.
Oh, upgraded remake.
Yeah,
okay,
so like PS4 to
upgraded
PS5.
ports, basically.
And the way that works is a lot of them are going to be free if you have Nintendo Online. And
right.
I'm not a big fan of these online services, but Nintendo is still probably the best about like adding value.
Honestly, Nintendo Online is like $25 for a whole year, so I don't really give a shit.
And you get a whole catalog of old ass emulators that are fucking great.
Yep.
That's not bad.
You get multiplayer, you get a couple other things, you get a bunch of sales in the store. Again, I'm not shilling for Nintendo. I have a bunch of problems with how they run their business.
Definitely.
How they treat content creators. But also they make really good fucking games. So, we're getting Pokemon Legends Z to A. I don't know that much about Pokemon anymore.
Look, Pokemon stopped. Like I think I stopped playing Pokemon after like, what the fuck was it? Like the Pokemon Moon or some shit.
Sun and Moon.
I guess either the one right after that or the one right before it.
See, I played a bunch of them through like XY and stuff like that, but I was an alcoholic, so I don't remember.
Oh no, you know what? I take it back. I played that Pokemon that came out for Switch too. That one was actually
Sword
pretty fun.
Shield?
You know? Yeah, that one.
So I played Sword and Shield. I played Shield, and I really liked it. And
yeah, I liked it a lot.
The one after that, the one with really bad performance issues.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name.
I think that's Scarlet and Violet.
Probably.
I started playing it and I was enjoying it, but the performance issues made it unplayable. So
Probably
I
plays
got to
GTA
like the
with,
first gym, and I was like, well, I'm gonna wait for a patch, and then I never went back.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about Pokemon Sword and Shields, my kid's got a Switch too, and I bought him I can't remember if it was Sword or Shield that I bought him. Of course, he's a kid, so he's got all the fucking time in the world to sit there and grind his Pokemon.
Jesus.
So he challenged me to battles, and then gets smug about it.
Do you? I used to be way into competitive Pokemon battling. If you want me to give you some hot tips, I will
No, I,
make.
I don't I don't I don't need hot tips. It's just that like most of the time my Pokemon would be like level fucking 50 and he'd be like level 80. Because he's got
Yeah, that'll do it.
all the time,
I'll
Listen,
do
just
it.
get a
all the
drill
time in the
board and kick
world.
his ass. All right,
It's fine.
Excaladrill,
It,
Excalib.
it's fine. I beat his ass at Smash Brothers and Mario Kart.
Oh, good. Ah, one of the Instagram cuties I like. She was like, "Listen, Mario Kart's gonna be $80. I better be able to get off that fucking cart and punch whoever I want whenever I want." Yep, agree.
So I did see about the Mario Karts that you're gonna be able to fucking drive wherever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
I
They're
would
gonna,
hope so.
That's gonna be different.
So the one other thing I want to bring up about this is people are like, well, if Mario Kart's gonna be $80, Grand Theft Auto is gonna be $100. Like, yep.
Yeah, absolutely. They were
I was
they
never.
were
I was
already one of the more they were already one of the more expensive fucking game
So
companies.
they're gonna absolutely do what Grand Theft or what Call of Duty does, and they're gonna oh, you just want the campaign, $70. You want just the multiplayer, $70. You want both, $100. You want the special edition, $140. You know that's
Hmm.
what Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna look like.
Yep.
And I'll buy the story mode because I'm one of those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I might buy the multiplayer just because we might fuck around in it. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't if I don't know if my fucking rig's gonna be able to run that and play that anyways.
Yeah, man. Yeah, like
And it's gonna be hell trying to find computer parts now.
oh, it's a nightmare.
oh, you're gonna try to. Oh, you're trying to stream this to Switch too.
That wouldn't be a problem, I don't
Yeah, that I don't
honestly.
think that would be a problem.
And the fact is I got I got an ARM-based Windows laptop, and this thing fucks. And so
Hell yeah.
one of these days I'm gonna stream from this just because I want to see how it goes, and I'm gonna actually take my ROG Ally and stream games from that to this ARM laptop just to see how it goes because I think anybody should be able to stream. All right, let's see what else. So, I don't have any homework now. We talked about video games, whether you liked it or fucking not. We talked about them.
I think your homework should be if you hear about any of these protests, you should go at least go take a gander at it.
Go
You know,
drive
like I
by.
we had there were protests. These were basically worldwide
Yep,
today
they
or
sure were.
yesterday, I guess.
Yeah.
But we had them here where I live. We had them in the town over. We had them in the fucking other town like half an hour away. You know, we had them in we had them in Charlotte, etc., etc. But I mean, basically, you just show up and see what's going on. You know, if you're interested in change, that's one of the ways that you can act upon it. You know, I didn't go because I had to fucking work, and I've been sick as a fucking
Oh yeah, he died of diarrhea. I'm so surprised he resurrected to be here.
Yep. I did drive by it, so
fucking chili.
my local protest. It was pretty good over in
Did
here
you
in
honk?
Orlando.
Did you honk and wave?
I did honk, and
Yeah.
the important thing is also in Orlando and Florida in general, we did have laws saying that hey, if you block traffic, you can probably get hit by cars, and they're not gonna, and that's your fault as a protester.
I want to bring this
All this
up
kind of,
again. I brought this up a couple of weeks ago because not only does Florida and North Dakota have the if you're blocking traffic and you get hit by a car, even though that probably will never hold up in a court, but
Yep.
Florida also has the stand your ground law. So if you're a protester and somebody's coming up on the curb at you and you pull out your sidearm and you dust that motherfucker, you're in the right.
I think he's right. I'm not a lawyer, but I think he's right.
And,
Yeah, we're not lawyers.
Again,
here. We're not
I
lawyers.
don't know.
Here.
See, this is why I said this last week. I'm like,
We're
what
not-
happens when an
You're right.
immovable object meets an unstoppable force in court? You know?
Yep.
So-
We're not telling you to go stand your ground
Please.
and try to block traffic.
Again, I always make jokes about committing crimes. I am an advocate for nonviolence. Not always, but mostly.
I mean,
Mostly.
I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate for violence, but I'm not telling you to go do shit.
I am a big student of the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I think everybody should go out and read The Radical King. That is the playbook we should all be working from. There's some God stuff in there. I know that's not everybody's jam. He doesn't dwell on it. It's more for examples. Please go read The Radical King. As Monkey said, your homework should be to go check out a protest. If you're looking for one, like I said, there's a website called theblop.org, which is super fun to say. It's the big list of protests. The big list of protests.
Yep.
Everything's up there. It seems like they're kind of non-biased. They put stuff up for everything. So check it out. You put in your zip code, you find it. Tommy's got it up, it looks like there.
Yep, I do got it up. So here we go for North Carolina.
There you go.
We got Stop the Billionaire Coup in Winston-Salem coming up this April. Coming up next week. That's cool. Let's see.
Yeah, they've been doing shit like every weekend here.
And nothing from North Dakota just yet. It's okay. Give them some time. It's fine.
Yeah. And so today, just so everybody's aware, like I said, the big one today was the 50-51, 50 states, 50 capitals, one day, except they had a huge one in Fargo, North Dakota as well, which is not the capital, but it is the biggest city in the state. And they even did a march. I was kind of hoping we would do a march, but we didn't. But I'm really glad they did out there. So go to one of these. You don't have to stay for the whole thing. Just show up. Like, that's the most important thing. The reason these protests are important is because a lot of like middle managers in the government straight up said, like
they saw people protesting. The advocacy out there allowed us to advocate in here.
Yep, they
Is what
pushed
they
for
said,
policy
basically.
changes because like they could look outside and see the signs. So go.
Yep,
and you know what? I'm not very creative. I didn't make a sign. I bought 15 poster boards and a bunch of Sharpies in case somebody wanted to make a sign. They all showed up way more prepared than I did, except I have some ideas for signs now, so I know what I'm doing.
I would have just printed that one of those Vance pictures and just stuck it on.
There were quite a few of those there. I had two favorite ones. One was a big picture of Ben Franklin that just said "tax this dick." So I'll put that on the
Very
website. There was another one where a gal was just like, she just had a big sign that just said "I punch Nazis," and she was just like wandering around like, "You a Nazi?" People were like, "No," and she'd be like, "Good." I'm like, you got the energy I kind of like. And I was trying to get a picture of her all afternoon, and then finally she came back onto my side of the road, and I was like, "Can I get a picture of you? I love your sign." So I'll put that up too. I see this a lot of too, like day of action at the Capitol.
Day of action.
A lot of places, big cities around the United States, they're protesting every Friday afternoon at state capitol buildings. I know they're doing it in Seattle.
We have a lot of protests. That's Tesla dealerships here.
I love Tesla and Twitter guy. It's all computer.
Everything computer.
I'll
And
say the
again,
next
I don't advocate violence, but if you burn down a Tesla dealership,
No, I don't think
that's not
anybody
violence
here.
because you're not hurting anybody.
I don't think anybody here's done anything to any of the Teslers
Oh, sad.
or to the dealership.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
I
even
mean,
think North Dakota has one.
that'd be pretty surprising. North Dakota has one.
Yeah,
That would be pretty surprising. They're
Dakota-
probably all from Texas.
You know?
You're probably right.
Up. Yeah, I'm looking at for Tesla stores. Let's take a look. We got Arizona, California. Oh, geez,
Oh,
that's a lot in California.
we have the supercharger, and I know there's a couple of those. And if you're in the Bismarck area, it's up by Best Buy. And a really cute couples date idea is to maybe go set those on fire.
We're not advocating for violence.
It's not violence
ideas.
if it's against property. It is still a crime though, so maybe don't, unless you're super cool.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Thank you,
Travis.
Thank you.
Travis over there chiming in with some good advice.
Yes.
If you can't,
Yes, we did.
you can't go to a protest. Use your voice in other ways, and he's right. Make phone calls, write letters, participate on show. If you don't have to, like, we don't really have like a big audience, but that's fine. We're just trying to get our message out.
I'm I really tried this. This is kind of for like my customers at my store.
Right.
It's for like 100.
And again, that's fine. This is more of an informative thing that sometimes has like segments where we just go off on a tangent. Where we explain shit, where we complain about shit. That's what it's about.
Yep. And so, making your voice heard is important, and some really good people on the left side, I don't want to call them Democrats or independents or whatever, because I don't think we're even Democrats. We're mostly independents. We're just like kind of under that banner because we don't want to be under the other banner. And just talking to the people matters. And I was talking to some people at the protest today because there were a lot of older folks there. And they were straight up just like, well, my grandson doesn't give a shit. I'm like, just talk to him about it anyways. Eventually it's going to affect them and they're going to get it. So just talk to people, be nice about it. Do we post our VODs on YouTube? Yes, we do. Go to youtube.com/@EasyVoteND. You'll find us. You can also, I'm actually going to be putting up a separate page on easyvotend.com. That's just going to have embedded archives of all of our videos, specifically the ones that have good audio, not the ones I fucked up. Normally we do a little gaming too. We've just all been tired. Living in a nation that is slipping into authoritarianism is tiring. So we're working a lot.
Yeah, because you got to deal with that on top of your regular job.
Sure fucking do. We're regular dudes. Like Tommy has like 7 jobs. Monkey has like 2 full-time jobs, and then his wife and like house and son and all the animals, and I own a business, and even though I only put like 30 hours a week in at the store, I work like 75 hours a week for the store, and then I do like 30 hours a week doing this shit now. I don't care. I'm gonna do it until I'm doing it till America's great again. There, I fucking said it.
That's right. We said it here. This is the true goal of our president, to making America great again.
I saw
the
a guy,
world.
and I should have taken a picture of his fucking shirt because it was like the Trump sandwich, and it was just like the middle was just like Trump baloney, and I'm like, this guy gets it. My love of sandwiches and my hatred of Trump. So
Donald Trump has watched The Watchmen, and he's like, he saw Ozymandias. He's like, I'm going to unite the world against a big blue idea. Dong. And I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Yep.
I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. That is his true 5D plan. Uniting against blue dongs.
And that's, I don't want
to. No, that was Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
He saw Dr. Manhattan.
Specifically that dong. Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys remember when that movie came out?
Yes.
And people were just like, I don't want to see dong. Dude, you see dong every day in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a penis. It's just a penis. Guess what? Big deal.
You know a lot of this?
Yep.
There's multiple of them. Because, there was Spectre was, having multiple blades.
Oh, yeah.
We had triple dongs. It was great.
Hell yeah.
I loved it.
Hell yeah.
I was awoken that day.
If I was Dr. Manhattan, that's what I'd be doing too. You should watch The Watchmen. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I love
TV series is a bit triggering for me, but also really good. So highly recommend both of those. That could also be. Your other homework is to watch the movie The Accountant and then comment about it. I'm not going to say anything else. It's Ben Affleck. Watch it. The sequel comes out on the 25th. I'm going to it regardless of what people say. I have some problems with that movie. Otherwise, that movie kind of fucks. So you should watch The Accountant.
And
that's it. Go ahead.
Your fourth assignment is to read a book written by Robert Carroll in 1974. It's called The Power Broker. It's 1,300 pages. It's going to teach you all about how government actually works. Or you can listen to a podcast. Don't let you do that. Just get the Cliff Notes like I did. I never read any of my reading.
Somebody send me a copy of that book. I'll read it and I'll put out the Cliff Notes. I'm good at that.
All right, you got it.
Yep. One of these days here soon. I actually have my. Hang on, I got a bunch of magic cards on there. Hang on, I'll do them. Here are my good magic pulls.
Hell yeah!
Do I have anything good in here? Oh my god, these are all trash. We got a full art. Herd Heirloom. The card slaps. Nope, all these cards are trash.
We're having a card off right now.
Card off. I got a turtle.
The turtle's pretty good.
Yeah, the turtle is pretty good.
It stuns itself for 3 turns. Ooh.
Oh, so fun fact. Clarion Conqueror, this art specifically, one of my customers who is a hardcore collector, we're talking like multiple Black Lotuses of multiple things, is personal friends with Crystal Sully. And she is selling him the original print of this card, Clarion Conqueror. So I'm hoping to be able to have some pictures of that to show. So that's just something kind of cool. Oh, hey, this is a good one. How about a full art Eugene? Yeah.
Eugene, yep. Eugene's pretty good.
How about a foil showcase Mox Jasper? Card's bad. That's a Pokemon card. I have another Clarion Conqueror because I like that card. Is there anything else cool in here? Nope. This is all trash. Oh.
Yeah,
I got a Japanese alt art Draco Genesis for my wife. She plays dragons. I don't play dragons. All right. So where I was going with that is what I want to do here soon is this is a copy of The Radical King. This is a compilation of writings by Martin Luther King, that was put together by Dr. Cornel West. And I highly recommend the audiobook version because it's narrated by a bunch of really cool people, including LeVar Burton, who is Geordi from Star Trek, and he's awesome. So what I'm doing is I'm listening through the book again, and I'm highlighting stuff in here. So what I'm going to do for a show one of these days is we're just going to go through some of the best parts of this book. Hopefully I can inspire you to read it, because I think this is the playbook we should all be working from. So that's all I've got for you this week. Thank you so much for being here. If you see all this and you like it, please share it with someone, anybody. It doesn't matter. The more people we can talk to and educate, the better off we are. Even if you don't share this and you know what we know, tell people. Like I said, I'm going full mask off. I took my phone and all sorts of shit to the protest today. I'm not afraid of these people. I'm not afraid of what they could do to me. Put me in jail. I don't give a fuck. Make me a martyr.
Oh, your optic wasn't clean?
Oh no. Well, it was clean by his standards. That's the thing. One of the other signs that the guy had was honk if you've never texted war plans. It's like, yeah.
Oh my god.
It was really good. And then unfortunately, because it's really windy in North Dakota, it ripped. So some lady was booking it out to the median where he was standing, and so they could tape it back together. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So
beautiful.
But that's why I brought extra poster board in case nobody had tape. So go to a protest, read The Radical King, talk to each other about politics, talk to each other about how much you make, talk to each other about joining a union. Be like, you have the power in this country. Use it. Tommy, Monkey, you got anything you want to add before we go?
Nope.
Perfect.
Keep your nose clean, boys
That's
and
right.
girls.
Don't
Drugs
do
are
any
bad.
crimes unless they're burning
Except
down
the good ones. The
Tesla
good drugs are
studios.
good, but the bad ones are bad.
That's right.
And
Which one are good drugs?
support your local drug dealer.
I get mine at a dispensary. I'm legal.
I don't do drugs.
You should do drugs. That's also my advice.
I may sound like it. I don't do any drugs. I'm high on life, and I'm happy.
No,
that I was happy to
Yeah,
be
he's
here.
just legitimately an awesome dude. I
It's
do
all-
drugs
it's all right.
like this.
It's all right. I raw dog reality too.
Fuck that.
And also, make sure everybody please take care of yourselves.
Yes.
You know,
Self-care is
life may
important.
be. Yep, it might be stressful. You might see the news. Feel free to take a break from the news. You don't have to be blind for it, but you don't have to like just soak in the entire pipe in your brain at all times.
Yeah,
do.
don't
You know-
bury your head. Don't bury your head in the sand, but that doesn't mean you need to be exposed to it all the time either.
Bingo.
Yeah, it's okay. Take some breaks and have fun, play
Touch
some
grass.
games. Spend time with your families. There's more to life than looking at the news. So
Bingo.
Yeah, just lock in.
No.
Like the kids say these days.
It's okay. Dilly-dally once in a while. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This has been Crying is a Free Action. Crying is a free action. You can do whatever you want. And you should. It's healthy. Thank you very much. Have a good night. See you next week.
Thank you.
Goodbye.